break that tackle, and you're on your own. Nobody can stop John Riggins one-on-one. But the opponents tonight, the consistently excellent Dallas Cowboys, sparked by quarterback Danny White, running back Tony Dorsett. Danny White with the ability to hit in the clutch and still finding that elusive veteran receiver when he has to, Drew Pearson. Of course, Danny doesn't stop with the passing game, not when you've got the greatest broken field runner in all of football and the likes of Tony Dorsett. Remember this run against the Minnesota Vikings for 99 yards? Look at him. He broke right there. Now, moving upfield, you're going to see one of the most remarkable displays of balance you'll ever see. Right here. Looks like he's to be forced out of bounds, but no. And spectacularly stays upright, goes in for the score. So, what we've got tonight is two of the most intense rivals in pro football. The Washington Redskins against the always excellent Cowboys. Blimp shot of standing room only, sold out RFK Stadium tonight. The crowd going wild. They have just been screaming, "We want Dallas." And now inside the stadium itself, getting ready for the contest. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the advent of our 14th year of ABC NFL Monday Night Football, the longest running primetime show in American television. And we don't come to you tonight without a knowledge of what's preceded us, because we have heard the very grave words of our president, and we're deeply aware of the gravity of the situation confronting our nation. So, we have a fix on sports in the American society, we think, but we also know that President Roosevelt kept baseball going in World War II, and we've got a sense of where it's at. The people can get a temporary release from this exciting contest tonight between two of the most intense and traditional rivals in professional football, the Cowboys and the Redskins. With that prelude, I turn you over to my good friend and enduring colleague, the man who'll tell you about the Redskins, Frank Gifford.
Thank you, Howard. Sir, if I'm enduring, you are everlasting. These two teams flat don't like each other. If you follow this game, you know that. The Washington Redskins seemingly would not have the personnel of the Dallas Cowboys, yet they have won 8 in a row. They've won 15 of 16. They were 12-1 and won the Super Bowl a year ago, and they have just absolutely do it together. And meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys, you know about them. They have not changed very much. And the man that knows them perhaps better than anyone, he should. He worked there for an awful long time, the dandy one.
Not quite long enough.
Did it all,
yes, I did it all. What can I say? This really get-tough policy may be Tom Landry's way of talking to himself. You know, he's been, last 3 years, they haven't made the Super Bowl. That's not a successful season for Dallas. So maybe the last 3 years they said, okay, Danny White can't win these big ones. He's starting tonight. Maybe Tom is beginning to say, hey, maybe there's something else that I'm missing in here. I've got a feeling that he basically is saying, I want to get this thing going. Maybe tonight's the night they've got the work cut out for them. The Washington Redskins certainly know they're in town. We're going to have a good ball game. And now old Frank Gifford's going to tell us a whole lot more about it.
Thank you, Don. And the capacity crowd, the 123rd consecutive capacity crowd is on their feet for the national anthem. Princess Pale Moon, an authentic Indian princess, will render the anthem. The national anthem, most meaningful tonight. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Wang. When it comes to automating your entire office, Wang puts it all together. Wang, the office automation computer people. And by Buick Motor Division and your Buick dealer who invite you to see and drive the 1983 Buicks. Considering all you got and how relatively little you pay, wouldn't you really rather have a Buick? And by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. And by Eastern Airlines, serving more than 120 cities in 22 countries throughout the Americas. Eastern, America's favorite way to fly. The Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys set to kick off their 1983 NFL season. Washington has won the toss. They will receive to our right. They will work to the left. The last time they met, of course, was for the NFC Championship. Won by Washington 31-17. They went on to win the Super Bowl over Miami. And, of course, their last loss was in regular season to these Dallas Cowboys. We're looking at Raphael Septien, set to kick off. Mike Nelms, a three-time Pro Bowler, will be dropping for the Washington Redskins. There he is. Had a great career up in Canada before he came 3 years ago. And each of his 3 years has made it to the Pro Bowl. He doesn't have the lofty numbers, but he is a clutch return man. He seems to come up with a big play when he needs it. We do not have to hype the excitement. This town has been upside down since the schedule was released last spring. Not a ticket available. The 123rd consecutive sellout here at RFK Stadium. Septien, set to kick. He'll put it high, and now should be able to make the return. Nelms from the 5-yard line. And a good return out of the 25, out close to the 28-yard line, taken there by Bill Bates. Joe Theismann, who will have a word with you, moves in. The inspirational leader of these Washington Redskins. There has been a lot of talk down here in Washington over the past few weeks about who's going to do what to whom. John Riggins was outspoken in putting down the Cowboys. Of course, when you're a Super Bowl champion, having set a rushing record in the Super Bowl as he did, you can say a lot of things. The offensive line, you had to look at it. John Riggins in the single setback, two tight end offense of the Washington Redskins. The move man is Walker. Theismann, 1st and 10, looking for Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown working in front of defensive man Dennis Thurman, incomplete. And we'll take a look at the defense. Defense that some people are questioning. They gave up a lot of yards against Houston. A flag is down, and we're going to get a personal foul call against Dallas, but we'll go ahead and look at that defense. There's Ed Jones and John Dutton, and the man perhaps on the line tonight is Harvey Martin. Not had a good preseason. Oh, he played well last week against Houston. The secondary made up of three agents and an 11th round draft pick, Dennis Thurman. Here's the call, referee Gene Bart.
Personal foul, number 78, defense, illegal head slap.
John Dutton got the activities underway, working against the Redskins' Mark May, illegal head slap. The Redskins first down at 10, 43-yard line. Again, John Riggins, single setback, had a tremendous year a year ago. Fired, and it's complete. It goes out into the flat, working against Everson Walls. It is number 89, Alvin Garrett, one of the Smurfs, as they have made that name famous throughout the country. The little people, if you will, and they're little once again because Art Monk, the best receiver of the Redskins, once again cannot face the Cowboys. He has a sprained knee, injured reserve, out for 4 weeks. So it'll be Alvin Garrett, the little one on the right, Charlie Brown, the little one on the left. And the big one in the center, John Riggins. Pickup of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. The ball just over midfield, 49-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Theismann. 2nd and short. Charlie Brown, he'll have a 1st down. He's down to the 42-yard line.
This is Theismann's bag, isn't it?
It's not a
quick dump off pass.
It's a good way to start a game, I think, particularly one like this, because he's not really taking any chances. If they're not there, he's going to throw it away. It's kind of unfortunate that he had a 15-yard penalty on the first plays. You take a look at Joe Gibbs, who's kind of sitting in the hot seat. You look at a guy like Gibbs who's come in here, and they wonder what he can do now. The Super Bowl teams always have a little difficulty in repeating.
The 1st down is at the 41-yard line of Dallas. Theismann got the call from Gibbs. Moving up the line, Riggins. Bust over the left side, and that's what he did so well over the final stretch run a year ago. He's to the 35-yard line. He'll pick up 7 yards.
Frank, if he can carry 35 times in this heat, I got to see it.
That'll be tough, but again, they've gone quick to the outside. You see a straight block right on Brudig in the middle. Riggins just picks his hole. What you want to try to do is establish the fact that Riggins is still there. He's had such a good season closing it out last year. Can he still do it this year?
Second down and 3. Running left behind Jacoby. And Grimm was Riggins. Riggins now tries right side, and this time he runs into trouble as Mike Hagman closing down, forcing him into Ed Jones and John Dutton. It'll be short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1. And Tom Landry entering his 24th year as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He has taken the Cowboys the last 3 years to the NFC Championship that they have been removed by San Francisco, Philadelphia, and of course last year the Redskins. 3 tight ends now for the Redskins on the short yardage. 3rd and a long one. Don Warren, Clint Didier, and Rich Walker. And Otis Wansley, 39, joins Riggins as a setback. Riggins, right side. He will not make it. Riggins trying over the right side behind George Stark, the veteran hog, if you will. The senior citizen on the offensive line of the Redskins comes up short.
It's a good confidence builder for Dallas if, in fact, they do stop him. Looks like the Redskins are going to go ahead and go for it on 4th down.
I'll tell you this, Joe Walton did that 5 times yesterday. It worked 4 times. And I can't conceive of Gibbs not going for it.
And you have to believe it'll be a long count looking for the offside. And you would also suspect it'll go left behind Joe Jacoby and Russ Grimm. And it will be Riggins. Riggins, first down. Second effort once again. We watched it so much last year. Riggins gets the first down at the 30-yard line, and the Redskins are on a drive. This is how they did it. Using Riggins, Theismann sparingly. And a remarkable statistic, the Redskins have not fumbled in over 350 attempts coming into tonight.
They will. It's inevitable. One of the dangers of this kind of drive, the number of plays involved, is sooner or later a mistake.
On first down and 10. The ball resting right on the 30-yard line. Theismann drills the screen to the flanker. And there's a gain of about 4 yards. Alvin Garrett picked up a block from George Stark coming out in front of him.
That little reject from the Giants, simply amazing. Marvelous on the timing pass play into the end zone. You'll remember, Don.
I remember that one well. What I really like today, those are real confidence builders that Theismann's throwing out there. He's not going to miss too many of those. It's a pretty easy target. He's checking those relatively inexperienced cornerbacks for Dallas. They're playing a little deep right now.
Second down and 6. The ball inside the 26-yard line. Riggins, right side, gets a good block. And springs for about a 2 to 3 yard pickup short of the first down around the 22-yard line. Bob Brunig, the middle linebacker, number 53, was there with Ed Jones, the defensive left end of the Cowboys, and it'll be 3rd down short again, about 1.5 yards.
He's getting on in years, but he's amazing on those one-on-one tackles. You just can't stop him.
He really is. You know, I kind of like the idea that Washington, the first game of the season, the first time they were faced with a 4th down and short yardage, they went for it. That might set a tempo all year.
Ball just inside the 22-yard line. 3rd down, 1.5 yards, and Theismann will go on top, and he's got Garrett. And Garrett working in front of Everson Walls.
I tell you.
Man on man gets the first down.
It is there, and as long as it's there, they're going to throw it. So
notice the room Everson gave him.
You bet. They're going to give him some room. He's not trying to get 10 or 15. He's trying to get 5 to 8. And Everson's giving him those. Good little move to the outside. They're not too complicated. I really do like that kind of offense.
One of the key things, John Howard, you saw it, and that was George Stark straightening up Ed Jones on the right side. You have to do that. Jones is 6'9". He cannot penetrate on that kind of pass where he will cause the deflection. Stark doing a good job on Ed Jones.
I saw it, too.
First down and 10, inside the 15. Looking for Garrett again is Theismann. Incomplete. Theismann working against Dennis Thurman. One would suspect that the Redskins feel that Thurman is the easiest man to go against man-on-man. We'll watch it once again. Garrett against Thurman.
It's an indication when they sent 2 safeties in there. They've got downs coming up from one side, the strong safety, and then actually they had a little pressure trying to come from the strong safety, which is Dexter Klingskill. what that's saying to you from a defensive standpoint, we've not been able to stop you with our regular stuff, so we're going to throw some trash at you.
We have a second down and 10. 88, Rich Walker moves outside, top of your screen. Charlie Brown split to the left. Garrett is out right. Now, here comes Garrett in motion. And the two wide receivers are on the left. Garrett slips one tackle, and down he goes in the arms of Dennis Thurman at the 10-yard line, and that will bring up a third down and 6.
Mike Hegman didn't make the tackle, but Hegman was the linebacker that was out there. It caused him to do a little stutter step, hesitate a little bit. Well, put him in a situation. You see a lot of substitution now coming in for Dallas, and I think they've been hiding a few things in the preseason. They've got this is their pass defense, so they take out a lot of the big guys. They got 7 backs in there.
And Washington counters. They bring in Joe Washington, who is healthy once again. Had a big game against Buffalo last week. Number 25, a good receiver coming out of the backfield. Nick Giaquinto is in there with him. 7 receivers for the Redskins. Heisman, short of the first down. He's close to the 7-yard line. Randy White broke in on the pass pressure and then collected Theismann short of the first down, and we should see Mark Mosley.
I would think so. Yeah, I think so. Now you got to go with Mosley. That's too long. They don't want to have the ball that long, take it that far, and come away empty-handed.
Mosley, what a tremendous year a year ago, setting an NFL mark of 23 straight. It started back in 1981 for the year 20 of 21. And if he connects here, he will go over 800 points for the Redskins. Theismann places it down. And the Redskins, with 8:35 remaining on the first quarter, have scored first. They lead 3-0. Mark Mosley putting it through the uprights. We'll be back at RFK Stadium in Washington, the nation's capital, after this. Field goal receiver, but does not have the distance that Jeff Hayes has. And deep will be Ron Fellows, number 27, and Rod Hill. Dangerous return man, Rod Hill. And this will be Ron Fellows from the 2-yard line. Well, Fellows is hammered as he gets over the 15 to the 17-yard line, and with every play, this partisan capacity crowd joins in with their Redskins. Danny White will be the quarterback. Under a little bit of pressure in preseason. There was, as there always is, when you have a good backup quarterback, a cry to make the change. Familiarity, I guess, breeding contempt in some areas. But Danny White has been a superb quarterback since taking over from Staubach 3 years ago. Has not got to the Super Bowl, and that upsets a lot of Dallas fans, but he's been to 3 NFC titles. First down and 10. The ball near the 17-yard line. Tony Hill split to the left, Drew Pearson to the right. The tight end is Doug Cosby. Tony Dorsett, right side, and the little man, but ever so strong, gets a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. And let's take a look at the offensive unit and the defense that they will be going up against. Over on that left side, Todd Liebenstein has replaced Matt Mendenhall, who had personal problems, left camp about 4 weeks ago. Those are the linebackers. Mel Kaufman is replacing Monty Coleman, who was taken to the hospital today when he aggravated a thigh injury. Darrell Green, number 1 draft pick, Texas A&I, the left corner, he's short, 5'8", 170. Curtis Gordon, a strong safety, replaces Tony Peters. We'll talk about them both a little later on. It's second down and 8. Cowboys, second offensive play of the first quarter with 7:40 remaining. Screen to Pearson. Bobby.
That was a play that probably was called on a quick count. But I can't help but believe Denny didn't see that defense roll up into a zone over there. Green was right in front of Pearson's face. So the only way you can't really come off so quickly is to have it on a quick count. And evidently he did that.
Little Darrell Green almost picked it off.
Yeah, he did. He was over there. That play didn't have a shot.
Boy, did Miami pick on him, Don, in the preseason game we did a couple of weeks back here.
And Buffalo Howard, last week, they went right at him. He promptly picked one off and went 21 yards for a touchdown.
That's how you learn, isn't it?
But he's still a question mark. Third down and 8. Out of the shotgun. Manley reigns all over Danny White. His arm was in motion, however. Dexter Manley, who put Danny White out of the game late in the second quarter of the NFC title game, gets to Danny White once again, but Danny White had the time. No receiver.
You know all about Dexter Manley. He has become very quickly a superstar. In the beginning, there was a question whether or not he could even make it in this league, but he has made it and then some.
And the Cowboys kicking from deep in their own territory. They have a new kicker. For the first time since 1976, Danny White relieved. John Warren, free agent out of Tennessee, will be kicking to Mike Nelms again. As I mentioned earlier, a three-time Pro Bowl over the past 3 years, and the Redskins are going to go for it. They're up close. Warren does not turn it over, and Nelms makes a leaping catch at the 48-yard line. Surges up around the 46-yard line. Dangerous play by Nelms, but the man knows what he's doing.
You got to love it.
All right, very quickly, Warren, a free agent, the second-string punter for Tennessee. A story in himself. We'll get back to it when we return. Well, they're a good Monday night football team, these Redskins. Came into this game, some thought Dallas might crush them. That remains to be seen. Jake Gibbs employing a mistake-free offense. Gift?
And John Warren, the new punter, 31-yard effort, hang time, almost zilch. Mike Nelms, great effort. First down and 10, 46-yard line of the Cowboys. Theismann back on first down once again. Rips going out to the right side. Alvin Garrett comes down with it, short of the first down pickup of 8. Everson Walls covering, but Garrett working nicely underneath. And as Don pointed out, as we were talking during the commercial, he said Theismann is not throwing anything that's going to hurt him thus far.
Well, this one's not going to hurt him really too much either, but he really drilled this one right on the money. A good comeback pass. Very difficult for any defensive back to cover that thing. Everson is still trying to play too deep.
Yep, he's going to have to tighten up his cover.
And then both these little men, Charlie Brown and Alvin Garrett, could blow right by them. Second down and 2. The ball inside the 38-yard line. Riggins, left side behind Jacoby and Grimm. Clinkscale comes up from his strong safety, makes a stop, and it looks like Washington will have the first down near the 35.
That could be certainly mistaken, but you know, when teams in the past, they do one thing against Dallas very well, and they play Dallas again. Dallas has a way of shutting that off. They may beat them someplace else, but Riggins and the Redskins ran very well against Dallas when they beat them here in a championship game. So I had a feeling coming in that Dallas would make some kind of adjustments to stop Riggins, which would mean that their passing game, they should have a better day, a better night of passing than they had last year.
Dallas takes frequencies, as you know, Don. Their pass rush comes from the right side. Martin, Randy White, not all that good against the run. The run strength is on the left side. It's Dutton and Jones, but the Redskins like to run left. On first and 10, Theismann back down. That's the blow by we spoke of. Alvin Garrett ripping by Everson Walls, incomplete, however.
That's exactly what Frank warned about. You tighten your coverage, and the guy scoots by you, and he's free.
Well, that's why they're going to throw those in short. But what he did, he's made a little out move and then turned it up, and he's got Everson beat by about 5 yards, and that was a catchable ball. The ball, if anything, may have been thrown a little bit too much on the string. He could have laid it up a little bit, but that's pretty easy to see from up here.
Dallas, their defense, for the first time, has an opportunity to play games. They have a second down and long. Tom Landry, over the years, loves to blitz on second and long situations. Of course, Joe Gibbs and Theismann are well aware of that. They go on a quick count. There's the blitz, and down goes Theismann. Coming in from the left side, it was Dexter Clinkscale.
Well, when you blitz like that, particularly with a safety man, you are going to leave somebody open. And he was so close of having a guy open right down the middle on Michael Downs, and Joe's looking in that direction. I think it was Garrett. You don't necessarily do a read as a quarterback and check everybody for blitzing. That's why the safeties, when they come, can sometimes get a real good shot at you.
Third down and 8. There was a loss of 8. More importantly, Mosley will be out of range now. And that will be what Theismann is thinking. Let's get 3 more out of this. He brings in Joe Washington, 25. I've already talked about his receiving ability. Giaquinto is in there with him. No flags. Theismann rifles one. Giaquinto, we'll see if he is in close enough for Mosley to come on for the field goal attempt.
I question it.
I thought Brown was lined up offside, too.
We will see the punting unit. That will be Jeff Hayes. Mosley remains on the sidelines. So a blitz pays off for the Cowboys. Dexter's Clinkscale on second and long yardage. Here's Jeff Hayes in his second year. Free agent from North Carolina who made the team a year ago. Rod Hill is back. But Hayes will be looking for the sideline. into the left corner. Looking for the coverage. Oh, they got it, and they got it.
What great hustle.
It was Otis Wansley, I think, who batted the ball back, and the Cowboys are going to be down around their 1-yard line.
That's the kind of alert, opportunistic play that carried them to an unexpected Super Bowl victory a year ago. They're alive and well. We'll be right back.
The Cowboys have the football at their own 2-yard line, 5:33 remaining in the first quarter. The Redskins dominating here in the early going, but they have 3 points on the board, a 23-yard field goal from Mark Mosley. Danny White brings up the offensive unit, an explosive offensive unit, but they have had their problems with the Redskins. Tony Dorsett, single setback. We'll see a lot of that tonight.
He's got Tony Hill out there on green, too.
Dorsett met by Todd Liebenstein over the left side, and Kaufman. 2 replacements, if you will. Actually, there are 4 of them on the left side for the Redskins.
Well, Kaufman's proved he can do it in the clutch because he did it last year. Monty Coleman, maybe the best athlete on the Redskins, frequently injured. Frank's already mentioned he was hospitalized this morning. Figures to be out at least 3 weeks. Internal hemorrhage of the thigh.
Kaufman had a big interception a year ago against Ogaboom in the NFC title game.
That's right.
With that left side of the Redskins, relative newcomers. Chris Jordan, strong safety. Darrell Green at the left corner. Kaufman and Todd Liebenstein on second down. Tony Dorsett once again out close to the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and long as the Redskins are fierce defensively.
Don't be misled. That was not a fumble, not remotely. He was down. Just touched the ground.
An example of extremely creative play calling.
It'll be 3rd down and call it a long 7. It is hot. The temperature about 90 degrees on the field just before game time. Humidity up around 70%. But the emotions will carry these players over that at least through the first half. Danny White from the shotgun.
Oh, no.
Going out to the left side, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Ron Springs. And defensively, Darrell Green, the #1 draft pick, Texas A&I, and he is delighted. The last time he played in front of his home fans, he was victimized totally by the Miami Dolphins. This time he makes the play.
Then he zeroed in on this right side in a hurry. It was not a good delivery. You didn't see a good follow-through.
Very dangerous pass.
Well, what happened? He threw it too quickly. You know, you get back there, and you're sitting in your own end zone, and that's the tendency to get rid of this thing in a hurry. They've got to get a little bit better field position to get that offense in gear.
In perspective, a big series of downs for the Cowboys, Frank, because they had to get out of that. This in the wake of the bad kick by rookie Johnny Warren.
And he's up again. He had a 31-yard effort. His first time in the NFL. Regular season play. This time he gets a good one. Hangs it high. A lot of time on this one. Nelms at the 44-yard line. Does not fair catch the ball and gets inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Good effort once again by Mike Nelms. Great return man in the clutch.
Another important series of downs. After the previous Warren kick, Washington had field position. Dallas held them, forced them to punt. Now Washington, good field position again. Let's see. We'll be back.
Saturday right here on ABC. Get the whole story on the Emmy Award-winning ABC Sports Beat with Howard Cosell. Pro Football's Rich Diana, the former golfer who wants to become a doctor. And a look at the misfits and mismatches plaguing professional boxing this Saturday, 2:30 Eastern Time. And then ABC's NCAA College Football, a beauty. It'll be live at 3 o'clock Eastern Time from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, matching Florida State against LSU. Florida State, of course, with the nation's leading scorer, Greg Allen. And LSU with a pair of top running backs. And other regional games will be Iowa versus Iowa State, Texas Tech against the Air Force, Maryland against Vanderbilt. On first down and 10, Theismann back once again. Garrett complete. He finds a hole, a big opening. And Clinksdale has him at the 20. But Theismann each time has thrown the ball on first and 10. Each time he's had the open receiver.
You've heard it before, Don, but from the beginning, as we look at an end zone replay, Jake Gibbs wanted to get this kid, and that little monkey gets loose, doesn't he?
He certainly does, as a matter of fact. Caught Dallas in kind of a double coverage sort of thing, split the zones in there. But it's actually Joe Gibbs. You know, Jake was the other kid. He was a quarterback.
Yeah, that's correct.
Joe.
Thank you for correcting.
3:16 remaining in the first quarter. Dallas has had the ball over 8 minutes. Quickly, it goes to Garrett. Once again, working in front of Walls, and he's up close to a first down, down around the 10-yard line.
Matter of fact, Jake was a nice kid from Mississippi. He was briefly a Yankee catcher.
He's a quarterback, too.
Couldn't hit for average.
Yeah, that was a first down throw right there. And again, they're working on the corners. They're giving them a lot of room. When they rolled up to try to get into double coverage, they split the zone. The play before that looks like another first down. So they cannot make they can make a first down without scoring.
Washington on the prowl again. They lead 3-0. The ball close to the 10-yard line. Tom Landry, the last time he faced these Redskins, he lost 31-17 on this very same field. And Dallas once again watched the Super Bowl from home. John Reagan, single setback. Don Warren, the tight end, number 85. The other tight end is Rich Walker, number 88. He'll move. There he is. And Riggins will try the right side. Surge is down close to the 8-yard line for a pickup of a couple. Clink scale on the left side of the Cowboy line was there.
What you have to worry about, in spite of what you said earlier, Don, is you can close down on Riggins for a while. But if he has the strength in this heat to carry as many as 35 times, sooner or later, he'll break a big one.
They're using the linebackers, though, to defend more against the run than they are the pass. So I think if Washington's going to beat them, they're going to beat them with the pass.
When you throw the ball like Washington's doing, your defensive linemen start to think about pass rush. When you do that, Riggins is going to start having a night. Riggins
right
again.
Like right now.
See what I mean?
It's close. We do not see the indication by an official giving the Redskins a touchdown.
And Tom is not happy, as you can see.
It's a good call. It really was. Theismann has been throwing the ball short, throwing it well. He comes back with the draw that fakes the pass, and here's Riggins.
And that's Anthony Dickerson coming in. Anthony's forte is pass rush. Is the pass coverage. As we can see, he didn't do a particularly good job of tackling there. It was a draw play that is off of a pass look. And that was a good call.
Third down for the Redskins. Theismann quieting the fans, which the Cowboys would be unable to do, of course. Riggins finds Jacoby and Graham.
He got it.
No indication. He does not have it, and it'll bring up fourth down in decision time for head coach Joe Gibbs.
I disagree. He's got to go for it.
There is the possibility, as Don pointed out earlier, they were short of the 10 when they had their initial first down.
They might make a first there.
But I don't even believe they're going to call the sticks in. Yes, they are now going to call them in, so there is the possibility of the first down.
I don't see how they don't have one or the other on that last play.
I think he's got it.
It's got to be either a first down or a...
By George, he's got it.
By Jove, I think he's got it. Oh, let's see here.
Ah, yes.
Stretch it out.
No. Yes.
Into short, it'll be fourth down. And for Joe Gibbs, again, a decision time. I think against Dallas, you go for the 6 points.
Absolutely.
You've got your 3. The worst thing that could happen is leave Dallas down deep in their own territory.
Absolutely. And you're playing at home, and this crowd wants you to go, and I think the players, they react to those crowds, particularly the Washington team.
I would think Joe would take it in himself.
Now give it to Riggins.
Fourth down. Riggins booming into the end zone, and Washington dominating here in the first quarter with 48 seconds remaining.
Oh, don't worry. Good time, Tommy.
John Riggins. Beautiful.
You with me, Don? Up saying hello to Jack Kent Cook, the Redskins principal owner. Said, I've never been more nervous in my life. Everybody thinks we're going to get creamed. Look at the start they're off to.
He's got to feel pretty good right now.
Mosley. Theismann gets it down, and the Redskins are on top 10-0. Redskins totally dominating throughout the first quarter. They've run 21 offensive plays. The Dallas Cowboys have run 6. We have 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Tonight, you'll see why this might be Frankel Harris's most important season as Old Spice Aftershave and Cologne presents NFL Classics.
Some men were meant for Old Spice. Him. Not him. Him. Not him. Not him. Him. Old Old Spice. It says the right things about you. Its timeless classic scent, unmistakably masculine, is always in good taste. Weren't you meant for Old Spice? Its unmistakably masculine scent says the right things about you.
No player in history has carried the football more times than Pittsburgh's bruising fullback, Franco Harris. His powerful running style, his eye for the big play, have boosted the Steelers to 4 Super Bowl wins. And now he's on the verge of breaking Jim Brown's all-time rushing record. Franco needs less than 1,400 yards, and as this season opens, his chase is on.
From the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise, hovering overhead, our cameraman Charlie Mitchell providing the shot. Captain Mike Fitzpatrick floating around up there on a very balmy, warm summer evening. Jeff Hayes bangs it deep. Ron Fellows from the end zone. And once again, a great effort by the Redskins, and Dallas will start once again near their 17-yard line.
Their special teams really are prepared. You know, Don?
Can't you just see them coming out and say, who are those guys?
Never saw special teams more important than in that game between two powerhouse teams yesterday, the Jets and the Chargers, where the Chargers special team made mistake after mistake, and the Jets were alive the way the Redskins are tonight. Turn the game.
And once again, Dallas from deep in their own territory. Danny White leading the attack. Drew Pearson split out top of the screen, wearing that familiar number 88 that he has for 11 years. Tony Hill, the speedster, to the right. Cosby is in motion. White puts everyone in the pattern. And down he goes. Dexter Manley. And a flag goes down as once again Dexter Manley is raining on Danny White.
That didn't take very long to get back there.
That will work against the Redskins. Manley apparently found the easy way to get in.
Didn't take long to get back there. Over on the left side, you got Donovan, who's not played much this preseason. And on the middle, he's coming in, but Donovan just really didn't hold it up. Donovan's had 2 in off season, 2 shoulder surgeries, and he actually, I think Randy White fell on his knee early in training camp, so he has not played much. Man, they came right around him, got back there in a hurry. We may see Big Phil Pozderic come in there for a little while. He's had a pretty good training camp.
The face mask penalty gets a first down for Dallas. Once again at the 17-yard line. Draw play, Dorsett, and look out. This could be bye-bye. He has great speed. Down the sideline, Tony Dorsett.
And look who caught him.
And Tony Dorsett goes down. He's inside the 5-yard line. Only one man in the field could catch him, Darrell Green, the world-class sprinter from Texas A&I.
He did make up some ground, too, Frank. Darrell got a late start. And, man, what speed he showed coming across, because Tony...
I'll tell you, he ran a 10:08 100 meters. And that was second only to Carl Lewis a year ago. Watch Dorsett.
Good lead block by Kirk Peterson, who came in through there.
This is exactly why, Don, you can never count the Cowboys out. They can look sluggish. They can look inept. And you think they're never going to play up to their ability. But when you've got a man like Dorsett, he can turn the tide immediately.
Didn't take long, did it?
Shifting tides ebb and flow. And that's the Cowboys that are so dangerous.
First down, goal to go, and Danny White does not like the personnel he has. He's upset. He waved his hands to the sidelines, wasted a timeout. He'll walk over and talk with Tom Landry.
They caught him off guard. They haven't been that close to the goal line all night. They've been using the other kind of plays.
Once again, Darrell Green was the man that caught him. He had a 10.08 for the 100 meters. He had time of 20.4 for the 200 meters. World-class sprinter all the way. And just a reminder, O.J. will be joining us up there. Don gets a little hiatus on Thursday night. We'll be at Minnesota for the 49ers and the Vikings. And, boy, they had themselves a game against Cleveland this past Sunday, yesterday.
Another hiatus for Meredith. It seems to me he's on vacation from us all the time.
I wish you wouldn't say things like that.
How do you spell work?
W.
You couldn't handle it.
Oh, well, I can handle it.
You see, just like that run against Minnesota last year that we showed in the tees.
Right.
What tight defense, looking against short yardage. bust through the quick draw, great call.
I bet he was shocked. I bet he was totally shocked that Darrell Green would catch him. Tony Dorsett runs about a 9.3 or 9.4 himself.
Look at Green kind of passing by his fouls there. And he's got some moves, hasn't he?
I think that's a great evidence of the world-class speed that we've talked about. I'll tell you who has it, James Lofton and Tony Dorsett.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, Dorsett, up until this year, I think he had beaten Donnelly. They call him Donnelly White Lightning now. Donnelly
and Lamb Jones, too, if he's healthy.
Timmy Newsom is in there. Dorsett gets a breather. This is Newsom, right side. He is hit and hit hard, and there's going to be a loss back close to the 10-yard line.
Good.
Up there first was Vernon Dean.
Good aggressive play by Vernon Dean, because he did. He closed it in from his cornerback position, turned it in. It had no place to go. Play strung out.
He came fast a year ago as a rookie. They tried to take advantage of him. By the end of the year, they were playing into Dean's hands. The end of the quarter, Gift.
That's the end of it, and Dallas loses 3 yards. They'll have a second down goal to go at the 9-yard line when we return to RFK Stadium. Stay with us.
We're back quite clearly. Tony Dorsett has banged up his left knee. Ice on it at the moment. Hopefully he'll be back. Here's the end of the play. And there goes young Green, the world-class sprinter. And he must have astounded. Watch this. Watch this.
It did not look like he banged it. He could very well have twisted it. However, it's got the ice on the top of the knee, and that would not be where he would be holding it if he had done any kind of
seemed like I remember
or anything like that.
Didn't he miss a little bit of the Houston game, and they said he kind of had like a Charlie horse or something that's above the knee, maybe a strained muscle of some sort.
Well, he's just pointing it to it, you see?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
All right, back at the ranch. Second down, goal to go. Ball at the 9-yard line, just inside the 9-yard line. Timmy Newsom has replaced Dorsett. Not handle it. Drew Pearson caught the ball one-handed.
What a great catch.
Vernon Dean, but he was juggling as he stepped out of bounds. It'll be third down goal to go.
What a great catch, though. That was
yes,
terrific.
it was. And a very lovely timing pass.
Yeah.
But inability to control it while still within the end zone cost him.
Good defensive coverage. You do have Dean right there, and he's outstretched hands, but look at that. Wide balance. Pearson, of course, is very close to becoming the all-time Dallas receiver.
Well, he's the all-time receiver, and he just needs a few yards to overtake Bob Hayes, about 185 of them. Third down, goal to go, and we hear a bruised thigh for Tony Dorsett. He remains on the bench. Timmy Newsom had a great game a year ago in a game we called between Houston and Dallas. He can do a lot of things. A big man. He's the tailback. Danny White from the shotgun. Trying to get into the end zone to Cosby, who was knocked off. He had about 3 defenders around him, and out comes Septien.
This hurts. A field goal, in a sense, means coming up empty when you've got first down on the 5.
Well, they haven't gotten a field goal yet. Of course, Raphael hasn't missed one all preseason. It does hurt, but you got to look at it another way. The Redskins have one of those, too. So let's get one of them back, whatever we can get. They couldn't get the touchdown, so let's get the field goal back.
Septien, perfect in preseason. He's 6 for 6. 9 for 9 on conversion attempts. Last year, 10 of 14. Talked to him just before the game. Said he's never felt better, kicking the ball as true as he ever has. Carano, a backup quarterback, is the holder. On its way through the uprights, and the Cowboys have drawn within 7. With 14:46 remaining in the first half. Septien splits the uprights. We'll be back in RFK Stadium in just a moment. 26-yard field goal from Septien. The big play, of course, a 78-yard run by Tony Dorsett. Could have been costly. He remains on the bench. Bruised thigh, ice on it. Septien set to kick off. Mike Nelms is deep for the Redskins. It'll be Nelms, and he'll bring it out. Big opening. Flag is down, and Nelms out of the 30. Struggling around the 33-yard line. Once again, a flag is down.
Boy, I tell you, that Redskin specialty team, they were hitting and hustling everything that moved out there.
It's the oldest law of the game, and utterly fearless is Nelms. The oldest law of the game. If you're going to catch it, well, Nelms did in the end zone, you've got to get it out, be past the 20 to make it work. No question. Look at that. Rushing yards for Dallas based upon the Dorsett run, but the passing yards, dismal. -10. Total yards, Washington, The Washington passing game, the key.
Number 58, illegal block in the back during the run back. First down. Stuart Anderson, second-year man out of Virginia, cost the Redskins, and they will start from the deepest point of the field thus far in the game with a little over 14 minutes remaining in the first half. Redskins on top 10-3. Heisman with his single setback, John Riggins. Walker, the move tight end, the flea flicker, Heisman. Garrett is back. Winkscale was moving over, and Heisman delivered it a little early. If he had fired, he might have got the completion, but it was out of bounds. The Redskins continue to go on first down to the air.
Gibbs will do anything. The man has been an incredible selection as head coach by Bethard, who had followed him for a long number of years and couldn't wait to get him.
Brought him in here in good shape.
How quickly one is a hero and then a bum. Look at Bill Walsh. 2 years ago, owned the world. Now,
he's not a bum.
Never was. He's a brilliant man. Marvelous coach. But under fire.
9 completions, 7 have gone to Garrett. Second down and 10. Heisman, Garrett once again. Has a blocker in front. It's Walker. And Garrett, the little one, out over the 20-yard line, short of the first down near the 22. It'll be third down and 1. Rob Brunig collapsing for middle linebacker along with John Dutton defensively there.
This is slightly different kind of pass than what he's thrown earlier. This is a pass that Dallas actually brought into the league. You try to get a big tackle out in front. There he comes in on, I guess it was Walls he was blocking in on. Looks like Garrett's carrying that ball a little loosely there. Might knock that one loose. Good play, though.
Third down, long one. 3 tight ends are in. Didier joins Warren and Walker. That's Didier moving. Riggins to the outside.
Forget it.
The big man, 33 years old. He has the speed, breaks it out when it should have gone inside, gets the first down out near the 40-yard line.
That's the beauty of John Riggins, the versatility of that big man, the ability to turn a corner, the ability to plow through and break the tackles, the ability to come out of the backfield and make the pass. Look at this.
Everybody closed down on that defense. It appeared that they really didn't have much place to go. The back came in. I believe that was Downs. I couldn't see exactly who it was. He just...
Brunig was chasing.
I think one of the points was Anthony Dickinson, who has replaced Guy Brown over at right side linebacker, came inside. He had that closed already off with Harvey Martin. He did not protect outside at all, and Riggins gets the first down and gets the Redskins out of trouble.
Looked like Warren delivered a very good block over there, too.
Joe Washington, the one with all the moves, and he gets 5 yards to the 45-yard line.
There's Dexter Manley. He's had a very good game so far. In there for a couple of sacks.
He had a little holdout problem this year. He said, I'm as good as Randy White. They're paying him $300,000. You're paying me nothing.
Tony's getting ready. There's the...
Still looks to be on his knee to me. Ice on his knee.
They say it's his thigh.
They don't always tell the truth.
Joe Washington got 5. It's second down and 5. Heisman will go up again. The big tight end, Walker, is open over the middle, and he gets inside the 35 of Dallas. First down, Washington.
Oh, boy. Nobody's getting close to Heisman unless they send blitzing linebackers or safeties.
I'll tell you, they are calling some plays tonight. Walker is not the receiving tight end. He is the blocker. And Gibbs is calling a superb game. Heisman is delivering. This is the blocking tight end. He gets a big first down inside the 35. Dickinson, the linebacker on the right side we spoke of a moment ago, trying to provide the coverage. He did not.
Good blocking in that offensive line, too, because nobody's getting close to Joe.
Ken Huff is in on the left side for the Redskins. Garrett again, and again in front of Walls, who's getting a workout tonight by Alvin Garrett. And Garrett gets another 9 yards to the 25-yard line.
Isn't that a beautiful scene?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Especially on this night. World News Tonight, because of the national crisis and the president's speech, originated down here tonight, where, with Peter Jennings as our new anchor, would ordinarily have originated in a spanking new set up in New York.
Lovely city, it really is.
Oh, it's
always
beautiful.
a pleasure to come in here.
And the Redskins fans are loving it even more in the heat. of this September night. Garrett, another reception, 9 yards, 2nd down and 1. Joe Washington. And he'll be held short of the first down.
He may not have made that, Frank, but he's one of the most remarkable little backs, I think, in the contemporary history of pro football. Double knee surgery. They didn't think he could come back.
Actually, you go all the way back when he was number 1 draft pick of San Diego back in 76.
Absolutely.
He had a knee operation then.
Mm-hmm.
Remember 78 when he played for Baltimore against New England?
I remember it well. The greatest individual performance we've ever had on Monday Night Football. We've made that point.
This man right here, Joe Washington, he got 260 yards of offense that night.
And it was done and said he'd never make it.
Yeah, sure it was.
Redskins have called timeout. This gentleman unaware. There will be no timeout for him tonight, except for maybe an occasional pit stop. Theismann is making one now with Joe Gibbs, and we'll be back in just a moment. Watched a lot of them over the years.
He's 800 pounds and 17 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
The Redskins have a 3rd down, less than a yard to go. They're inside the 25-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. They lead 10-3 with a little over 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Riggins, he got the first down. Surging down around the 23-yard line.
Tried to strip him of the ball. You know how many times he's fumbled in the last 3 years, Frank?
Well, he's got, a string of about 324 handles coming into the night without fumbling.
He fumbled against the St. Louis Cardinals once last year. Nobody could believe it.
If it's first down again, Dallas goes into their infamous flex defense, where basically 2 of the defensive linemen are backed off the line of scrimmage a little bit. It's fairly difficult to get a good pass rush.
That means throw on first down.
Throw on first down.
That's what Theismann has been doing.
And if you can do it, those little short ones, then that's, hey, keep doing it.
He wants it all. This time it's Charlie Brown. Downtown, Charlie Brown. The other Smurf on the left side, beating Dennis Thurman. And he gets inside, and they'll mark it at the 5-yard line. First down, goal to go.
This is a brilliantly coached team as you look at the ISO on Charlie Brown. Well, Jake Gibbs taking what the opponent will give, getting the most out of what each of his players and what they have to give. Undersized receivers, Garrett and Brown.
They're not very complicated pass patterns. What he's really doing, he knows he's going to get some time to throw. He's got some inexperience in the secondary, and he's just letting the guys go and let Joe pick the hole.
Theismann quieting the crowd once again. First down, goal to go. They've marked it at the 5-yard line. Riggins. Down goes Riggins. Good defensive play. Everson Walls coming across from his left corner spot. There'll be a loss of 5. Back to the 10.
That's the defensive play of the night for Dallas, if you want to know.
When you hear Frank call names for defensive plays, they're the defensive backs that are coming in there to either make it on a blitz. We haven't heard much from the linebackers. We haven't heard the names called to too many of that defensive line.
They have not had a lineman yet close to Theismann, which is basically the Dallas defense. They have been playing run on the flex defense on first down and 10, and the Redskins have been throwing the football.
Go Hogs on the nails of that lady, fingernails, and Frank had that done to his today.
Second down, goal to go from the 10. Joe Washington, big hole, and Washington hurdles back to the original line of scrimmage. Joe Washington, who had a big 10-yard touchdown play last week against Buffalo, not in yardage, but in the way he had to juke defenders to get into the end zone. And they knew he was ready to play once again. Third down now, goal to go. Theismann flips over to Gibbs. Gibbs, one of the assistants to play, which is called down many times by Jerry Rome, a former teammate of Don Meredith, who's sitting up at the press box.
Jerry knows a lot of football.
Offense stacked to the right, and now Garrett in motion, and Theismann up on top once again, and he'll be sacked. There was a safety blitz on. Michael Downs was in there, and Randy White was underneath.
Very big series for the Cowboys.
Really was.
Mark May adding Joey there. One of 2 great ones from the University of Pittsburgh in the Washington offensive line, a huge offensive line.
You see the Cowboys move different defensive linemen in. Don Smirk is going out right now. Smirk, how do you say that? Came in to replace John Dutton. They feel he's a little bit better pass rusher.
It'll be a 30-yard attempt. One of the great ones, the last of a dying breed, the straightaway kicker in the NFL, Mark Mosley, drills it through, and the Redskins have 3 more. But they might be looking back on that. They had a first down, goal to go at the 5. They settled at 3.
So did
as Dallas did in the first quarter. It's a great city you have.
Thank you.
This city is so beautiful, and yet it looks more beautiful than ever in time of national stress or crisis.
Jeff Hayes to kick off. Ron Fellows, and he stays in the end zone. That ball had a lot of height on it, but one would suspect he should have brought it out.
I would think so.
Washington would have, I'll tell you that.
But Dallas wouldn't, because they haven't gotten one past the 15 yet. So they said, well, let's at least start at the 20.
Dick Nolan on the right, Tom Landry talking with Danny White.
Is Tom the one with the hat on?
They were teammates, supposed to the Giants.
Danny White, 0 for 5, hasn't completed a pass. Danny White, who was locked into a battle for his job with Gary Hogaboom, the young man from the smallish college in Michigan, a great thrower. Butch Johnson said it was the Landry system. They were making Hogaboom a pawn.
Quite frankly, he has not been on the field that long. Dallas totally dominating, or rather Washington totally dominating at time. Dallas has had 11 offensive plays. We have 7:44 remaining in the first half, and Tony Dorsett back in the game. White gets the screen off. Ron Springs. The Springs up close to a first down. He had to get to the 30.
Nicely executed screen.
And a good point Frank made. I mean, it seems that the whole first quarter, Washington got the ball, took that opening drive, kept it down. When Dallas got the ball, they didn't have good field position, didn't have two series of downs were not good at all. So this is kind of, you feel that maybe the first time they're getting ready to run the offense they had planned to run tonight.
Yeah, 3 of those 11 plays they ran from their own 1 yard line.
Yeah, well, look at that right there. 3 minutes and 55 seconds. You're not going to do it a whole lot like this.
There's a time when time of possession has mattered, sustaining the John Madden field.
First down 10, Tony Dorsett, single setback. White deflected and knocked away. It was Todd Liebenstein, who has got several calls tonight, filling in, as we mentioned at the very beginning of the game, for Matt Mendenhall, who left camp some 3 weeks ago. A remarkably penalty-free game tonight.
6'6" is Todd Liebenstein. He's one of your great big old boys, as they say.
They're all big.
Yeah.
Frank, did you notice where Don Strock, the quarterback, finally signed with Miami?
I was surprised at that, really, this late. Good man, Don Strock. He's won some big ones coming in relief. Right now, Dallas looks over second down and 10. The ball at the 30-yard line. That's Cosby in motion. This is Dorsett with a block from Springs and a good one.
Was that a wonderful little move kind of the inside to set up that block? He just looked like he was going to go to the inside and then just kind of glides out. Picked up about 4 or 5 extra yards. Watch the fact that Springs is going out in front. And here comes Tony. Let's set that block up. And now slide around. Now, a lot of guys want to set that up. They don't have the speed to go outside. He does. Still favoring that leg a little bit, looks like, doesn't it?
Good reaction in the secondary. Tony Dorsett held to 5 yards, just out of the 35-yard line. Third down and 5 for Dallas. Drew Pearson, who has not caught a pass, comes out to the left. Tony Hill, who has not caught a pass, goes out to the right. Cosby, who has not caught a pass, is the tight end. He's in the slot. In the shotgun, White, down he goes, and he is hammered. The ball is blown dead at the 24-yard line as Terry Brooks, who broke his game in the regular season game against the Cowboys last year, was the man who hammered Danny White. It was just a delayed rush.
Had to be. That's a little crisscross move to the inside. And when you look at it on film, you can see that the right guard, Kurt Peterson, moved out to the other side and left the hole in the middle there.
And wouldn't you know, Dexter Manley picked up that so-called fumble, which it wasn't. The ball dead.
There's Mike Nelms, and John Warren will have his second punt of the night. He has kicked 131. He is a 41-yard effort. A rookie from Tennessee. It doesn't turn over, but it hangs for a while, and here comes Nelms. Nelms started at the 37. He's still free. That's why he's been to the Pro Bowl 3 consecutive years. He gets a first down. Dallas territory, 42-yard line. A great effort by Mike Nelms.
The test of a great kick returner is his ability to return a punt in this league more than 10 yards. 15 out of 16 times. Nelms did it last year. What a remarkable player.
Obviously, he's getting some help from teammates, but he does do most of this on his own, doesn't he? Look, he left 3 Cowboys standing there in the dirt.
That is some pretty bad tackling.
That really is pretty bad tackling. They have not played well on special teams at all.
Taking nothing away from Mike Nelms. He's a great one. That was poor tackling. And Dallas paid for it. Washington, first down and 10 at Dallas' 42-yard line.
So close to the Washington Monument, and before the evening's over, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial.
I'll tell you, you're on top of it, baby.
I thought they were tricking us there for a minute. I love those shots, so that's nice.
I do, too.
Yeah.
Mike Nelms, good return of a John Warren punt. The Redskins, first down and 10, 42-yard line of the Cowboys. The Redskins on top, 13-3. Riggins, left side. This time, Dickerson is there, and Riggins goes down at the line of scrimmage.
That's only the second evidence tonight of good linebacker play by the Cowboys.
That may be
both times Dickerson. They're weak at the linebacker position. That's their basic weakness.
I've read that. That's the first or second time they've run on first down, too, which is what we were talking about earlier with the flex defense.
That could be why they're not running on first down. They lose one. It's second down and 11.
Dorsett's yardage from the 78-yard run.
Quick count, Riggins. Big hole in the middle. Fumbles the football, and a Redskin is there. They look like Charlie Brown.
No, Bostic.
The center, Jeff Bostic.
Well, I'll tell you, somebody did a nice job opening the hole in there. We can take another look at it.
Bostic must have been a part of it. He's the center.
Yeah, that's right. Center. Good Simmons on the other side. That's Brunick sliding off. They're not tackling too well.
You can stop him only so many times, Don. If he carries the ball enough times, he's going to break one.
Inside the 29-yard line, first down and 10. Let's see if the Redskins go back to passing on first down. Long count. Walker, the move tight end. Right up the middle goes Riggins. Hammering on the Dallas defense now. We have a new left guard, by the way. It's Roy Simmons is in there at right guard, or the left guard for the Redskins. Number 60, replacing Russ Grimm.
Every time I watch Riggins, and I mentioned this, I think, last year, I think of that sly old fox Weeb Eubank, who drafted him first and was castigated for it when he could have had John Crockett. John is in the finance business in San Diego.
Riggins, right side, breaks to the outside, draws a crowd, and still pulls his way back, and he'll get a yard out of it when he should have lost a couple.
And
he'll be third and long.
Here is Riggins in his positive prime, verging on 34.
He's in great shape, though. He said over and over, I'm going to come back. If we don't make it again, no one's going to blame it on me. And he is in tremendous condition. The man has never really been seriously injured, too, and that helps. What a year he had. 550 yards in regular season a year ago, and then over 600 yards in the Super Bowl tournament. Of course, a tremendous record-breaking effort in the Super Bowl. Third down long, a passing situation for Theismann. Got Washington open, but under pressure, he overthrows, and we should see Mark Mosley.
Got a feeling that there might even been a missed assignment. That play didn't look like it was really supposed to set up that way.
Well, Mosley is hit twice from 23 yards, and again from 30 yards. He's out once again. It's quite a team, Theismann and Mosley. Between the two of them, they will have a word with you.
Yeah, they'll talk to you.
Will you look at that man's record last year?
That's not bad, is it? And look at... Oh, yeah.
Yes. Just stays in, and the Redskins get 3 more. Redskins on top, 16-3, and Mark Mosley is now hit from 23, 30, and 39. 3 straight for Mark Mosley. We'll be back.
A special edition of ABC's NFL Football, Thursday night.
On your left is Ron Fellows. On your right is Rod Hill, the #1 draft pick of the Cowboys. A year ago, they await the kickoff of Jeff Hayes, who does the kicking off for the Washington Redskins.
Tom Landry and Gil Brandt, Frank, say that Hill is the most improved player on the team.
And some of them say he had a long way to go.
The right-footed kicker gets it to Fellows in the corner, and here comes Ron Fellows. This time, Fellows is able to navigate out over the 20-yard line. The 2 previous run backs he attempted were at the 17. So Dallas has 3:15 remaining in the first half. They trail 16-3, and one must be thinking that they better get some points on the scoreboard. They are being totally dominated by the offensive line of the Washington Redskins and the play calling and execution, first of Joe Gibbs and then Joe Theismann.
Maybe Jerry Rome up in the press box. You mentioned Jerry.
Maybe. Look at that.
And
Cowboys
they have won 17 of 18 since 1965. On Springs. And Springs is hammered up around the 24-yard line. He'll gain maybe 2. Give him 3. It'll be second down and 7.
If you remember, they lost last year's season opener on a Monday night at Texas Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers. A great night then for Terry Bradshaw. I don't understand the Steelers yet, losing to Denver yesterday, Tom.
Well, Denver's putting it together, I guess. Got some guys out there.
Yeah, if the Steelers have 7 turnovers at home,
then you should understand that.
Second down, 7. The ball inside the 25-yard line. Flooding back to the left. Danny White.
Look out.
That one could have been picked off very easily. Rich Malott all over the intended receiver, Ron Springs, and yet Danny White tried to squeeze it in.
I'm telling you, he's shaking his head. Don't know what he was, but it appeared he didn't see Malott out there, yeah. He's looking over. We're looking at it from the other side, see if we pick up anything else.
Malott was in perfect position.
This is supposed to be a checkoff back. You're supposed to check everybody else down the field and come back over to him last. It appeared Danny kind of zeroed in him from the very beginning of that play.
Tony Hill left. Drew Pearson is right. Butch Johnson's in there. Third wide receiver. Third down, 7. The Cowboys with Danny White from the shotgun. Cosby does not hold on, and that's not characteristic of Cosby. Rich Malott once again there, but Cosby could have had that one easily.
It was behind him.
This is an unsettled Dallas team because Doug Cosby has become a truly great tight end, one of the very best in the league.
That was not an easy catch. Number one, he had to turn all the way around. The ball
But I've seen him do it, and so have you.
Well, okay.
Here's John Warren on 4th down. We have 2:26 remaining in the first half. Mike Nelms there deep for the Redskins. 2 timeouts remain for the Redskins. Dallas also has 2. Remember, Danny White had to use a timeout when he had the wrong personnel on a first down goal to go at the 5. John Warren gets a beauty this time. Takes Nelms way back. Takes it over the shoulder at the 24-yard line. And here he comes back again. Oh, Mike Nelms back out over the 40 to the 44-yard line. But Washington once again has good field position with 2:11 remaining in the first half. Reminder again, next Saturday, college football, a beauty, down in Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. LSU has a pair of top running backs in Dalton Hilliard and Gary James. So it'll be Florida State, LSU, and then we'll also bring other regional games to you. Iowa versus Iowa State, a big interstate rivalry with Iowa State having won their last 3 meetings. And we'll have Texas Tech against the Air Force or Maryland against Vanderbilt. Consult your listing to see the game and the time in your area.
I don't think we get all that on in one day.
We're fancy.
My gosh, there's a lot of stuff happening.
First and 10, 43-yard line. Screen goes out to Rich Walker, the tight end. Good defensive effort on the part of Larry Bethea, who is coming in, obviously, as a pass rusher for the Cowboys. Walker gets 3. It'll be second down and 7.
That's twice they've used the blocking tight end, Walker, in a receiving capacity. We'll be back with more football after this message from the National Football League.
That preceding announcement was brought to you by Danny White of the National Football League as a public service. Back at RFK Stadium, 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The Redskins over the Cowboys 16-3. And those are unbelievable stats passing. But again, Washington's offense has been on the field almost the entire first half. Theismann looks over a second down and 7 from his own 47-yard line. Joe Washington. And Joe Washington is taken by rookie Bill Bates out of Tennessee as the Cowboys are in their prevent defense anticipating pass.
I say a word about Bates, a free agent like Johnny Warren, both from Tennessee. Funny thing in this league, certain people on certain teams adopt certain schools.
Yeah.
No, loves Baylor.
Right.
Greg Hawthorne.
Right.
Waller Abercrombie.
Right.
And Pollard.
Right.
Okay. That's true as you look at Bates,
Right.
who's a little bit slow-footed, but a heck of a hitter, and very great in his anticipation. Gilbrandt loves Tennessee. 2 free agents, Warren the punter, and Bates.
He's got 3 from Missouri.
There was a loss of 3. It's 3rd down and 10. The ball at the 43-yard line. Theismann back looking for Washington. Washington's covered. Theismann has a lot of open field. Theismann has the first down, and he gets inside the 40-yard line.
Oh, good move.
The 35-yard line. 1:05 remaining in the half. The Redskins have 2 timeouts. Michael Downs prevented Theismann from penetrating even deeper. Landry looking for one of the assistants.
That's right. He's looking for somebody.
He looks bewildered.
One thing we know, it's not your fault, Tommy.
The answer is in curfews and discipline.
That's
You're
right.
exactly right,
That's
John.
right. Nothing you've done.
Quite frankly, Cowboys are lucky this game isn't totally out of reach. It's 16-3, but they are an explosive team. They can score quickly, but they've got to get the football back sometime tonight. First down and 10. Ball near the 35-yard line of the Cowboys. Riggins just bulling forward. Gets a couple of yards.
Well,
Giving 4, it'll be 2nd and 6.
56 and counting down, Frank, and you look right there at the clock. But a couple of more yards, and Mr. Mosley is readily available.
I'll tell you, they're going to call timeout, and I'd like to take this opportunity. We lost a friend today. I've known him for many, many years.
Sure
Don
did.
knows him. Howard knew him. Buddy Young, great All-American out of Illinois. Of course, a tremendous pro football player, was killed in an automobile accident down in Terrell, Texas this afternoon. And typical of Buddy Young, he was leaving a memorial for the Kansas City Chiefs great running back who died earlier this year in a drowning accident. Buddy Young was there, and he was killed this afternoon, or this morning, I guess, in an automobile accident. We're going to miss him.
Renard Carr.
Quite a man.
Renard Carr swung off the road. Remarkable man who has worked steadfastly in the commissioner's office for Pete Rozelle for so many years. A great humanitarian, a very special fellow, very unassuming.
Wonderful sense of humor.
Yes, he did have it.
Yeah.
For all of us at ABC, we'd like to express our sympathies to his wife, Geraldine, and Buddy's 3 fine kids.
It's hard to believe. Such an ebullient little man. Little. Oh, he was little in size, but on a football field, he was one of the biggest you could ever see. What speed, you remember?
I remember I was playing Yankee Stadium back in, I won't tell you how long ago, but back in the early 50s for USC. Buddy Young played the day before, and Emlyn Tennell ran a kickoff back, and they kicked off to Buddy Young, and he ran one back for the other team. Great speedster, wonderful man. We've lost him, Buddy Young. They have 48 seconds remaining here in the first half. 2nd down and 7 for the Redskins. Theismann fires it into Rich Walker. First down. It's another first down inside the 25, and a flag is down. We're going to have holding against the Redskins.
It's been a relatively penalty-free game.
I think that might have been the second flag we've had tonight.
And on the first play, when Dutton hit somebody in the head, they got him. And
that was to get their attention, telling them we're not going to have a rough game tonight.
Well, you know, Dutton has some fun. He got stuck in the eye, and he says that they've changed the rules so much.
73 offense, holding, still 2nd down.
Mark May, right side.
One of his complaints in the rule change is that eliminate the head slap, but it is, I think, a very dangerous thing to do. See somebody that's all off and hit you as hard as you want to in the head, so I'm for that rule change.
2nd down and 16 now for Theismann. Puts Walker way out to the left. He has Garrett to the right. Theismann. Great catch by Charlie Brown between 2 Dallas defenders. He walks into the end zone.
Oh, Charlie loved that.
There's a leaping effort on the part of Michael Downs for the interception. And I'll tell you, it takes concentration to keep your eyes on the football when it looked like the interception was going to be made, or certainly the deflection.
Remember, he's only 5'10". This is a brilliant Exactly. Coach, fired up team. When have you seen the Dallas Cowboys appear in such disarray?
The last time they were here in Washington.
I'll tell you,
It wasn't as bad as this.
a very solid football team at the moment. Mark Mosley for the conversion, and the Redskins are dominating this game, and now they are moving it out on the scoreboard.
What do you think the odds are of Hogaboom playing in the second half?
Oh, it's not Danny White. You got to get the football back for him.
I know it's not Danny White, but I mean, they're going to have to do something over there, or we're going to have to go back and
put Hogaboom on defense.
Well, now that's what they've got to discuss. There's a possibility that vaunted
goes
flex
down for the
4-3
interception.
defense. Isn't that a pretty catch? Look
Dennis
at that.
Thurman went for the deflection, and Charlie Brown never lost his concentration. Touchdown, Washington.
When you see people having this much time to throw, that's where you start from right there.
Great concentration by Charlie Brown.
Looked like Thurman just misjudged his jump a little bit.
He's the big play man. He had 8 touchdowns a year ago, and they were from 78, 65, 58, 57, 45, 43, 39, and 38. He's a big man. So Theismann joined the Redskins in 74. Became a starter. 78. This will be Fellows. This one he'll bring out. Final seconds of the first half.
Didn't make the 20.
And he's getting very familiar with the 17-yard line. 3 times he's been down there.
I don't blame him for downing it in the end zone. He gets 3 more yards.
That's right.
And doesn't get hit.
He broke his string. He improved. He got to the 18 as they mark it at the 18 with 26 seconds now remaining in the first half.
It's not your fault, Tom.
Lots of activity, of course, the opening day of the NFL yesterday. And, of course, Philadelphia and San Francisco had a little jump on it. We're going to have highlights for you at halftime and, of course, some other features. So be sure and stay with us. You can do what you want about writing Dallas off, but they still have the personnel to explode. Here comes Tony Dorsett. He is upended. A great effort by Darrell Green, the rookie left cornerback from Texas A&I. Washington now is a red-hot football team. Everything is going their way. They've got it on defense. They've got it on offense. And Tom Landry, he's got his problems. Huge standing ovation for the Redskins as they go into the locker room, leading the Dallas Cowboys 23-3 in the first half. They left their football in the nation's capital, but we'll be ready for our halftime features after this message, and then a word from our local stations.
Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Buick Motor.
Jeff Hayes will get the second half underway. Deep, Ron Fellows and Rod Hill. This will be Ron Fellows from the goal line. And Fellows this time out over the 20-yard line. Flags are down all over the field. Taken there, Fellows was, by Larry Cuban. The referee tonight is Gene Barth. And we are going to have a clipping assessment. And the woes continue for Dallas. It works against the Cowboys. Danny White will remain the quarterback. He certainly is not exhausted because, as you can see, he was not in the football game very often. These are the first quarter stats. Passing yardage, minus 10 for Dallas. They did not improve a great deal over that. And the time of possession, that is startling. Washington. 7 for Dallas, 22 for Washington in terms of minutes. Here comes Danny White. This crowd is having fun tonight. Danny White brings them up. The penalty brings the ball back to close to the 10-yard line. Tony Dorsett stays in the game. He had a bruised thigh in the second quarter, but he's in there now, works his way over the right side, gets maybe 2, giving 3 yards. It'll be second down and 7. Still to have a reception are Drew Pearson, Tony Hill, and Doug Cosby. If anyone would have told you that before the game, that they would not have a reception in the first half, I'm sure you would not have believed that.
strange thing, Frank, how a game starts a certain trend, and it's so hard to turn it. But Dallas, from an offensive standpoint, just really without Dorsett's run, they've done so little tonight.
I think Tom is going back to basic football. He's got 2 tight ends in there, Doug Cosby and Billy Joe Dupree. I think he's just going to try and run the ball and establish something. Dorsett looking for the first down marker, but he doesn't catch it. He'll be short by about a yard. Taken out of bounds there by Neil Okowitz, the middle linebacker.
Frank, as I was saying goodbye to Peter Jennings, have you mentioned yet that we went a whole half without Tony Hill, Doug Cosby, or Drew Pearson?
I was just saying that and marveling, saying that no one would believe it if you told them before the game that that could happen. But offensively, while the Cowboys have not scintillated, the Washington Redskins have totally dominated the Cowboys' defense. They kept the football for over 22 minutes of the first half. Third down, long one. Out to the right side is Ron Springs. He'll have the first down out over the 20-yard line. So Dallas, here in the opening moments, moving the ball on the ground, picks up the first down. Lineups remain the same with the changing of personnel, of course, for the special situations. Danny White at quarterback, Ron Springs, Tony Dorsett. Now Billy Joe Dupree goes out, and we'll bring back in Drew Pearson. Defensively for the Redskins, they remain the same. Green, the left cornerback. Curtis Jordan, strong safety. Mark Murphy, free safety. Bernadine at the right corner. On 1st and 10, Dorsett, right side. Stacked up there, but strong for a smallish man, like little football sizes. He still ekes out about 4 to 5 yards.
When you see the first few plays the Cowboys have run, it gives you kind of an indication of the personality of that team. I can see them at halftime, heads hanging a little bit low, but what they said, look, we're going to come back and establish, make this a physical game. So they didn't come out and try a lot of razzle-dazzle. They come in pretty straight at Washington. It was not a bad philosophy. Let's at least let them know we're here in the park.
Well, there were not a lot of smiles on their face, Tom, when they came out of the locker room.
I'm sure that's true.
2nd down and 6. Ball inside the 25-yard line. Play action by Danny White. Looking for the bomb to Tony Hill, and he'll be there. This is going to be 6 points for Tony Hill, and that's what the Dallas Cowboys were looking for. They are explosive, and they can come back. Danny White, 76-yard touchdown pass, beautifully thrown, and Tony Hill was in full stride.
I think it was very important for them to at least make one first down rushing, and that's what they did. They got Tony Hill out on Bernadine, and that's just, you just don't hardly do that. The ball is well thrown. Look at Tony just go by him right there.
Dead on stride,
that's
perfect delivery.
That was a good throw by Danny White.
So Dallas puts their first touchdown on the scoreboard.
I'd about decided since Tom won't let them dance in the end zone anymore, they wouldn't go in there.
That's one of the crackdowns. We'll have no more hijinks in the end zone, according to Coach Tom Landry.
I would judge that on how many times they go into the end zone.
Here's Septien for the conversion, with Carano placing the ball down off the snap of Tom Rafferty. For the Cowboys, draw closer, but they still trail by 13 points. 76-yard touchdown pass. Danny White to Tony Hill. 12:20 remaining in the third quarter. We'll be back. Little play action found Tony Hill connecting for Danny White's longest touchdown pass of his career. You're looking at Mike Nelms. And he will be back to receive the kickoff of Septien. Driving kick that's bobbled and then picked up and taken by Otis Wansley. And Wansley bulls his way out close to the 30-yard line, where Washington will have their first offensive possession here in the second half. Tony Hill, a former high school quarterback and a great receiver at Stanford, and of course an outstanding receiver for Dallas, has led Dallas for the past 5 years in receiving.
Listen, there's something I want to say right here and now. I'm not going to interrupt the flow of play, though. A couple of AP reporters apparently going to our truck. I'll pick up in a moment.
Here's Riggins, left side.
Let's get him out of there.
Just to the line of scrimmage. Anthony Dickerson there first to make the stop. And Dallas, thus far here in the second half, a little firmer.
Let me pick up. According to the reporters, they were told that I called Alvin Garrett a little monkey. Nothing of the sort, and you fellas know it. No man respects Alvin Garrett more than I do. I talked about that man's ability to be so elusive despite the smallness of size.
You had him in the Pro Bowl in the first quarter. I don't know what they're listening to. 2nd down and 10. Walker is on the receiving end of Theismann, breaks the tackle and gets out to the 44-yard line. 1st down, Washington. And it was Walker breaking the tackle of Michael Downs.
I think it's little things that often turn around, but I had Washington not come out and made a 1st down here in this first series of downs. It would really help Dallas's, as they say, old fickle momentum. But once again, they're working those short flanks to the outside, and until they stop them, if I were Joe or whoever's calling plays, I'd keep throwing them.
Washington's job right now, keep themselves settled. They've dominated this game thus far. They just gave up that one long touchdown. If you're going to do that, to the Cowboys sooner or later. There's a wide open Alvin Garrett.
Good throw, too.
Working right between two Dallas Cowboy defenders. The principal man, Everson Walls, once again the victim.
You're exactly right in what you said, Don. The continuance of this drive will totally dilute the momentum that Dallas established in its comeback effort with the Hill touchdown.
I'll tell you what they're doing. They're trying to play Garrett different. He was running a little square out in the first half, and you saw Walls to the outside getting help from the inside from the safety, but Theismann and Garrett read it beautifully. They split the gap. They get the 1st down. 35-yard line of Dallas. Riggins and the ball moves inside the 30. It'll be a gain of 6.
They caught Dallas that time going into a double zone with their safeties and cornerback. No help in the middle except you got the help from the linebackers, and they're doing a good job right there in the middle. Bostic's coming out on Brunick. Look at that. Good lead block coming in on Randy White. Big hole. No help from the outside coming in.
2nd down and 4. Redskins prowling once again. Riggins. Just sheer strength on the part of Riggins. He'll be short of the 1st down, leaving Washington with about a 3rd down and 1.
It's going to get better before the night's over. They're going to get a little testy, looks like.
Offensive line for the Washington Redskins. Walker, the move tight end. The other tight end is Don Warren. The big men up front, the Hogs, they call themselves. Joe Jacoby on the left. Right now, Roy Simmons is in for Grimm at left guard. Jeff Bostic at center. Mark May is at right guard. And the veteran George Stark, a former Cowboy from years ago, at right tackle. Wansley and Riggins, those are the setbacks on short yardage, and it is short, 3rd and 1. Riggins has the 1st down. Flags are down. This could produce either a face mask or a holding. There were flags everywhere. It was an obvious call to the officials. Holding Washington.
That hurts. Takes them out of field goal range, out of Mosley territory.
Washington will be backed up.
That's always the danger of these long drives that produce short yardage per play. A mistake that wipes out the whole thing. You know, Don?
Well, it certainly is, I think, important for them to...
86 offense, holding.
There you go.
Still 3rd down.
Clint Didier, the 3rd tight end. 3rd down remains the same, and they are just out of field goal range. I think Theismann will be thinking he'll be having a man deep looking for the 1st down, but he'll be having a checkoff man somewhere in the middle looking for field goal position for Mark Mosley. And he has his receiving setbacks in Giaquinto, former Dolphin, and of course Joe Washington, who is a gifted receiver out of the backfield, number 25.
And here's Washington out of the backfield.
Down goes Theismann, sacked way back at the 47-yard lines. Don Smerick, whom we were told would be in there on the pass rush along with Larry Bethea, where Dallas, this time the strategy pays off, and Mosley well out of field goal range as the sack takes place at the 46-yard line of Dallas.
That may be the biggest series of the night for the Dallas Cowboys.
Could be. The rookie Bill Bates that time was the man that was covering Joe Washington man-to-man, and I thought Theismann was trying to go to him, and Bates did a good job of covering.
He did. He gave him a good bang within that 5-yard restricted area. You had to look at Rod Hill back to the punt of Jeff Hayes.
That's a high one.
Fair catch called for, wisely made by Rod Hill because Redskins were all over the area. They would have covered it deep in Dallas territory. And now Dallas has a first down at 10. They're at their own 19-yard line. We'll be back at RFK Stadium in a moment. That goes back for many, many years, a decade and a half. The Dallas Cowboys. The Washington Redskins are getting it on. 8:20 remaining in the third quarter. Redskins on top 23-10. The last possession, the Dallas Cowboys had the football. They scored on a 76-yard touchdown pass. Danny White, Tony Hill. This is Tony Dorsett. And Dorsett breaks the tackle and gets the first down. He's out close to the 35-yard line.
He is an asset, isn't he?
He sure is. Shifting tides, ebb and flow. What a turnabout. This team now is filled with its confidence. Had none in the first half as the Redskins picked them apart.
I don't know how the heat is going to work on either team, but it's going to be a definite factor tonight. It is very warm, very humid. It was about 90 degrees on the field at the start of the game. Humidity up around 70%. Dorsett now with that 76-yard run that he had, 78-yard run, 10 carries, 120 yards. And every time, at least 32 times that he's gained 100 yards, Cowboys have won. Twice they've lost. Drew Pearson, balancing act on the sidelines. He gets 7 yards. It'll be second down and 3.
So Curtis Jordan, number 22, try to come in for an interception. It was a good pass. The ball was kind of lofted up over his head. But they're trying to play that outside pass with those strong safeties coming over. Didn't work that time.
You saw Drew Pearson look back to Danny White after he caught the ball and said, right on, you read it, because Jordan, no question, was going for the interception, and White just put it up too high for him. Second down and 3. Dorsett, lots of trouble out there. And Dorsett somehow works his way up close to a first down. Curtis Jordan made the stop.
Slippery customer and so deceptively strong, as you noted earlier, Frank.
Got up rather slowly that time.
We watched him many times over the years in Superstars competition. Tony Dorsett would come down there and either win the weightlifting against big offensive linemen and defensive linemen or finish well up in that competition.
Pretty revealing figures.
One year he just came down. He wanted to run the
inches short.
He wanted to run the 100-yard dash against Thomas Henderson. He and Thomas Henderson had a big thing going. He beat Thomas Henderson about 15 yards.
On the asphalt in 9.46.
That's right.
Inches to go for the first down. This is what you call a character-building situation for Dallas.
Wait a minute. Take the other ball off the field. There you go.
I would think Dallas is almost in a 4-down situation anyway at this point of the ball game. Maybe it's a little early for that.
Springs and Dorsett, the setbacks. 3 tight ends are in. That's Cosby in motion. Dorsett, or rather around Springs, right side. He has the first down easily up close to midfield. Good call. Send Dorsett left. Give it Springs going to the right. Dallas now on the move. 7:20 and the clock is moving here in the third quarter.
Remember what I said in the first half? Dallas is 31-2 when Dorsett gains over 100 yards. He's now over 100 yards, so we've got to remember that.
We can go home.
I think we ought to stick around. Okay. Washington's not going to hand this game over. And Dallas is trailing by 13 points. They have the momentum at the moment. Play action again by Danny White, looking for Tony Hill, or rather, Drew Pearson is overthrown. He was wide open.
He was.
He put a move on Curtis Jordan.
And White knows what he did.
He knows better than anybody, and he probably knew as soon as he let it go.
Drew says, I was there. You see the C on some of the Cowboys, 4 of them, as a matter of fact. They designate the captains, Drew Pearson, Danny White offensively, Ron Fellows and Bob Brunig. For the first time, they were elected by the team this year as captains.
It's amazing what the Get Tough rule means down there. Democracy is moving in.
Second down and 10, 49-yard line for the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Hill left, Hugh Pearson right. Cosby, the tight end, nearest to you. Overthrown, intended for Drew Pearson, and covering well with Darrell Green. Danny White could have slipped it in. That ball, however, thrown very high.
A slight hitch and you get along there. That ball was not released with a great deal of authority.
Well, what a comeback, Frank, Darrell Green has made from that Miami debacle a few weeks back.
There's no question he's a great athlete, and there is no question he had a marvelous career at Texas A&I, not only in track, but also in football. His height is the question. He's 5'8", and he's dealing with receivers down the line. When we watched him against San Diego late in the year, he'll be going even against Kellen Winslow at 6'6", who San Diego often splits wide. Third down and 10 now. And the shotgun. Danny White going for Tony Hill. One hand grab. Touchdown, Dallas.
I can't believe Tony Hill.
It was Anthony Washington, recently acquired from Pittsburgh, who was back there trying to cover. And Tony Hill and Danny White made it look so easy. 51 yards, a touchdown, and the Redskins are starting to get nervous.
It looked as if he was perfectly covered. That was not bad defensive coverage. Oh, this is fun. Let's just look at it.
This is Anthony Washington. He's stride for stride, but watch this catch.
Well, he's got him about, that's right, by about a step. Ball had to be right there. That is amazing. Yeah, terrific catch, Tony.
Howard, in the highlights, you talked about James Lofton, and I agree, one of the great athletes in pro football today, but so too is Tony Hill. And we saw a good example of it there. Septien now on for the conversion.
That was a third down and 10, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Wow, that's the way to pull it out.
Toronto gets it down, Septien through the uprights, and we have a different football game.
And we suddenly have a very quiet crowd. Let's look at that play from the reverse angle.
As we've said so many times, it usually starts off when that guy's got time to throw, and he didn't have much room to throw that one into. That was a heck of a pass. But look at that catch.
Great effort and a great delivery by Danny White, and the Cowboys have drawn to within 6, and it's a little quieter in the TP at the moment. We'll be back in Washington right after this. Yard touchdown pass, Tony Hill. Cowboys have drawn to within 6 points at the end of kickoff. Mike Nelms back for Washington. High kick. Nelms will bring it out from the goal line. Nelms hit at the 20 and gets to the 21-yard line. Hit there first by Bill Bates. So Washington now has the job in their hands. They have got to reestablish their dominance that so totally prevailed in the first half. We'll be back to watch.
Intellivision presents You.
Will be on live this Saturday. The Redskins, first down and 10, the ball at their own 21-yard line. 6:26 remaining in the third quarter. Washington 23, Dallas 17. Heisman on first down. To the air, Walker getting a workout tonight. Usually the tight end Washington chooses to go to would be Don Warren. They are working Rich Walker tonight, effectively.
Say this for the Redskins. They're sticking to their pattern. First down pass, as you just saw.
They're playing like they did a year ago that gave them a 12-1 season. They use Riggins sparingly.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas had more linebackers that they would consider that 3-4, but they don't have that. They're not, the depth is not that good in linebackers.
They're having trouble with the 4-3 with their linebackers.
Yep.
Riggins right side. It's rolling. Close to a first down. Looks to be about a foot short.
We may reach a point in this game where we can say the key play was the holding penalty against Didier that stopped the Washington Redskins drive to answer the first Tony Hill touchdown.
Now bring the sticks out as they have marked it now out over the 31-yard line. It'll be very close.
The Cowboys went into this ball game. We're talking about the linebackers as you see a first down.
Washington first down and a key one again.
Mike Hegman is the bigger of the two outside linebackers, and they wanted to try to play him on the strong side or right in front of the tight end. Keep Anthony Dickerson on the weak side. That's so hard to do now with all the shifting motion that the offenses we see, but that's what they would like to have. Keep Dickerson on the weak side and Hegman over on the strong side.
Of course, they lost Guy Brown to retirement this past season. Dickerson is in there playing for him at the weak side spot. First down and 10, Washington. Near the 32, Reagan's left side. Upended, falls out of the 35. Gets about 6 yards out of it. And a Redskin is slow getting up. Joe Jacoby, the huge left tackle, is down on the turf here at RFK Stadium. And what a key man he was last year and has been tonight. We have not had a call from Harvey Martin tonight. And one of the reasons is Joe Jacoby, who works head and head on every pass play and is a great run blocker. Jacoby, the injured Redskin, will be back with the report in a moment. Big Joe Jacoby appears to be all right. Nothing to do with the legs. Shaken up, perhaps the wind knocked out of him. A very warm night. He could have had cramps. He has been replaced, at least for the moment, by Ken Huff, who has moved into left tackle, recently acquired from Baltimore. Russ Grimm has come back in at left guard. Second down and 4 for the Redskins. They have the ball just out over their own 37-yard line. 5:24, clock moving here in the third quarter. Theismann. Jones is there. Theismann has a Redskin receiver on the ground, even though he was Don Warren. There is no flag. But it was John Dutton and Ed Jones who had Joe Theismann corralled.
Well, the point is, Dallas has stopped them again. What a swinging fortune.
Third down. 5. Ball near the 37-yard line.
This is
Offensive
critical,
changes for
Frank.
Washington. We get Joe Washington in the lineup. Nick Giaquinto. We get 7 backs for the Cowboys. They bring in Ron Fellows and Rod Hill, along with Bill Bates. Giaquinto does not hold on, and it'll be fourth down, and the Cowboys will get the football back.
Now there's not just unease, but open dismay in the stands.
It really is a difference in the decibel points have gone down considerably here in the last half.
I'll never let them tell you this is not an emotional game for fans as well as players. There's Rod Hill, dangerous return man. He fumbled upon against Washington, a costly one in the NFC Championship game a year ago. He'd like to redeem himself for that. Jeff Hayes is the punter for Washington. And Jeff Hayes has hit a beauty. It drives Rod Hill deep into his own territory at the 8-yard line.
That's good, Rod.
Rod Hill looked to the right, nothing doing, went back to the left, and he ran into a lot of Redskins. And the Cowboys will be deep in their own territory.
Well, if anything will give them a lift, Frank, it'll be the play of the special teams, a lift they desperately need.
I'll remind you, next Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports, the Sports Beat coming your way, 2:30 Eastern Time. Howard Cosell, of course, the host of that Emmy Award-winning program. We're talking to Rich Diana, the former Dolphin, who wants to become a doctor. And we will also be talking about the misfits and the mismatches plaguing professional boxing. That's Saturday on ABC Sports Beat with Howard Cosell. 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. First down and 10. The Cowboys near their own 8-yard line. Don Springs working hard. Gets out over the 10 to the 11-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7.
We haven't mentioned, and we're not going to overlook it, that the Redskins are playing this game without that great, strong safety of last year, Tony Peters, who, as most of you know, pleaded guilty to 2 counts, the principal one, conspiring to sell cocaine. We have hit the issue of drugs in the NFL in the past. We're not going to ever duck it. And many of you know that I spoke at length on Sports Beat last Saturday with Pete Rozelle on all the issues confronting the National Football League.
Second down and 7 for the Cowboys. This is Ron Springs. Tripped up and struggles forward. He'll get a couple of yards out of it. It'll still be third and long for Danny White. Third and about 5. You mentioned Tony Peters being gone, he will be sentenced on October the 7th, I believe it is.
That is correct.
Jarris White at left cornerback continues to hold out. That's where Darrell Green, the youngster from Texas A&I, is playing. And, of course, Joe Lavender retired last year. Monty Coleman could not play tonight because of a re-injury to a thigh muscle. He's in the hospital watching. We wish him well. Matt Mendenhall left camp 3 weeks ago. So the Redskins are not the Redskins totally you saw in the Super Bowl last February. 3rd down 5. Danny White wide open. Cosby, 1st down Cowboys, and they are out over the 30-yard line.
I've been waiting all game for him to hit Cosby.
That was a mix-up in their defense. If you could or could not see Anthony Washington, the 24, was trying to come off the field. The coaches were trying to get him back on the field. He's a strong safety. There's nobody over there. So it's a mistake and a mental mistake more than anything else. Somebody's supposed to be there covering the tight end.
Doug thought he was going to get hit.
Yeah,
no one in the area.
Where are those guys? Mix up on the defense. Doesn't take many of those, and you're out of it.
Cowboys, a touchdown and a conversion from leading this game. 31-yard line. 1st down and 10. Dorsett got a man open, and he can't run under it. Ron Springs, deep downfield.
That was a good 1st down play. And Tony knows he had him. That's right, Tony. He was open.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Tell you, reacting very quickly was Darrell Green. And also moving over the strong safety, Mark Murphy.
They've shown that play now. They may show it again before this game is over. And very effectively the next time around. They may.
That's true.
2:35 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dallas has 151 yards passing in this quarter alone. The big plays, of course, Tony Hill, a 51-yarder, and a 76-yarder. Danny White, a lot of time.
Oh, he had it.
Batted down. Dave Butts gets a big hand up, and they are big.
And he was wide open, too, wasn't he? Springs coming out of the backfield. Good job by Butts.
Butch Johnson comes in for the Cowboys.
Well, Washington hasn't had a bigger down this game than right now.
And Washington reacts to the 3rd down and 10. They bring in additional secondary men. Anthony Washington checks in. Ken Coffey is in. 6 secondary defenders for Washington. 3rd and 10. The Cowboys at the 31-yard line. Short of the 1st down. Tony Hill was there, but he's short by a couple of yards. That they'll mark it at the 38-yard line. So Tony Hill and Danny White combined for the completion, but 3 yards short of the 1st down. Now here's a situation when Danny White was the punter that we could have looked for him perhaps to throw or run.
And, you know, I never thought about that. And that's true. And they did it rather effectively several times through the past.
And John Warren, we don't know about his capabilities in that area, and we doubt that the rookie from Tennessee would be given the green light by Tom Landry in any event. Here's Mike Nelms awaiting the punt of the youngster, John Warren. Long snap, of course, looking for the offside. A beautiful punt this time by Warren. Hangs high, and for a long time takes Nelms back to the 15.
I'll tell you, that Nelms,
he's amazing. He's an offense to himself. He took the ball near the 15-yard line and gets it back out close to the 37-yard line. A 47-yard punt by John Warren.
Don't forget this Thursday night special edition of Monday Night Football, Niners against the Vikes. I think the Vikes are a dark horse team.
they're good.
And they're fun, too.
Then on Monday, San Diego having to fight back from the loss to the Jets against Kansas City, which won its opener against Chuck Knox in Seattle under its new coach, Makovic, who was on Landry's coaching staff last season.
On 1st and 10, Reagan's to the outside. He runs into Michael Downs, bounces off, gets back to the line of scrimmage. And it'll be 2nd down and 10.
They're really closing down on this Redskin team. And when they don't pass on 1st down, they go nowhere. On balance, on average.
I think the adjustment that I see that they did at the halftime is they're playing a little bit more of the double coverage to the outside to try to knock off those little quick passes that they were throwing on first down. So you say, well, what do? Well, you try to work into the middle with those tight ends, and evidently he's just not as comfortable throwing in there as he is to the outside.
Exactly right. They've been rolling up on Alvin Garrett, giving him inside-outside coverage. And that's taken away that first down, easy square out they were getting throughout the first half. We're second down and 10. Ball near the 33-yard line of the Redskins. Joe Washington. Washington gets it. Randy White bobbles the ball, and there's a scramble for it.
They got it back.
Should have been blown dead anyway, but they tried to hit the middle that time with Washington. He just got jammed up in his own backfield.
Final seconds ticking off here in the third quarter. Washington got a couple of yards. It'll be third down and 7. And I doubt if Washington will get another play off. They've had a very upsetting third quarter as Dallas has answered their 23-3 lead at halftime with 14 points. We'll return for the fourth quarter after this word from our local stations. Stay with us. Has fought back. As we begin the fourth quarter, they trail by 6 points. Washington has the football, third down and 7, the ball at their own 36-yard line. Joe Washington, a gifted receiver. He has replaced Riggins as setback. Theismann, Charlie Brown is open. First down, Washington.
Good throw, good run, good route by Charlie Brown.
And big play.
Hey, he is a little one. He's 5'10" also, but he has that knack for getting open. This was wide open.
But look at that ball. That ball is right on the money.
Dennis Thurman laying way off Charlie Brown. He had to know he was going for first down yardage.
Yeah,
that was way off.
That's a good point. He was a little bit deep.
Ball just inside the 48-yard line of the Cowboys. Mark McGrath, we see him for the first time tonight. Second-year man out of Montana State. Charlie Brown, on a very warm night, gets a breather. Matter of fact, this is Charlie Brown in the reverse. It's Alvin Garrett who's out. And look at Charlie Brown. He'll have another Redskin first down inside the 35 to the 33. And Joe Theismann out there blocking for him.
He certainly was.
That was Brunig that he threw a block off.
Hey, that's a good call. They're going back to Redskin football now. Brings it around. That's Theismann's attempt there. And here he is, number 7, watching. Little hook slide in front of Brunig.
Well, Theismann tried to block, but he tripped Brown.
There you go.
You got to give him. That's good effort in there. Go.
Charlie Brown gets the first down. 33-yard line of the Cowboys. Theismann, Charlie Brown. And a quick move by Dennis Thurman. Charlie Brown now working underneath. They're using Charlie Brown like they used Alvin Garrett, because Garrett now is going double coverage, and Charlie Brown is getting single coverage.
That's the whole key, Frank. Garrett, with his brilliant play in the first half, has caused double coverage in this half, and Brown is the one now to go to.
Looking at the third quarter stats, the minus passing yardage, they have gone to a plus 153 as Dallas. He looked down on the bench, and Alvin Garrett was being treated by the trainer. I don't know whether he's just exhausted or what, but he's sitting on the bench, and Mark McGrath is in the lineup for the Redskins. Here's Riggins on second down and 3. Gets to the 25-yard line, short of the first down.
Well, they're in Mosley territory now if they have to settle. Of course, they'd love the TD.
They've got almost 2 yards. Dallas defense has been on the field much of the time tonight, almost the entire first half, and they have to be suffering from the effect of the heat. Theismann, good call. It's Mark McGrath. McGrath working in front of Everson Walls, just as Alvin Garrett did in the first half, and Washington has the first down.
A good quick move by Joe to get back upset and get this ball out there in a hurry.
And you saw the drive blocking too, Don.
Yeah.
George Stark making sure Ed Jones didn't penetrate so he could deflect that short pass.
Really a key. They didn't do that. Dallas didn't a while ago, and Butts knocked it down.
There's more to that even than what we've said. Key thing is Gibbs or Rome calling a great game, not losing their heads, and Theismann not losing his poise.
The first down just inside the 20-yard line. Virgil C. is a wide receiver now for the Redskins as John Riggins starts to work as he usually does when the Redskins get down close.
No matter whether they score a touchdown or a field goal, assuming they'll do one of them, that makes Dallas have to score twice. So it's very important that they come away here with something.
Riggins now 87 tough yards on 26 attempts. He just picked up 4. It'll be second down and a long 6. The ball marked inside the 17-yard line. Under 11 minutes remaining in the game. Riggins, a good cutback by Riggins, but he runs into a pursuing Dallas defense. Bob Bruning is there, along with Michael Downs.
Particularly good move by Bruning, who fought off a couple of blocks coming out of that middle linebacker, and they just strung the play out. Bob was able to come in, make some contact with Riggins, keep him from turning that corner. According to Jerry Tubbs, linebacker coach, Bruning has had a very, very good camp. He is the kind of the defensive captain that Frank mentioned earlier, so I guess he's the guy they turn to in there.
He comes out because Dallas on 3rd and long is anticipating the pass. We get 6 defensive backs now for Dallas. Bill Bates is in there. As a matter of fact, we have 7. Ron Fellows comes in, and Rod Hill. That's Warren in motion. Good receiving tight end. Theismann. Flag is down, and Warren is down. In fact, a pair of flags are down.
I would think one of them
Warren might get caught for pushing off.
Either that or it could be the interference on the Cowboys.
Oh, looks like
Warren was working into the middle, pushing off a Dallas defender, I do believe.
2 critical penalties. The earlier mentioned one against Didier, and now this one. Makes the field goal a little more difficult.
Number 85, offensive pass interference, still 3rd down.
Does that Frank have sharp eyes? I'm telling you, that was good.
Yeah, you called it well.
John Warren.
But now, let's see. A sack against Theismann, and they'll be in the same position they were, but recently.
3rd down, a long 15 yards for Washington. 7 defensive backs are in. And the one thing Theismann does not want to do is turn it over. Don mentioned it. If he can put 3 on the board, Dallas will have to score twice. Theismann down the sideline. Short of the first down, but he got a lot of the yardage back. That will help Mark Mosley. Michael Downs took him out of bounds.
It depends on where they mark that thing, and I think it might be no, I guess not. Wrong line I'm looking at there.
No,
they take him out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Here comes Mark Mosley.
They're short 3.5 to 4 yards.
That was a good move by Theismann, though. He didn't really have a chance to set up and look downfield. So rather than risk a fumble or the interception, he just got what he could.
That's what I meant by keeping his poise.
Theismann is the holder. He doesn't always do that. Mosley is perfect on the night, 3 for 3. 31-yard attempt. Oh, no. No good. And things are not going Washington's way at this point.
Nobody's perfect. Not even Mark Mosley.
After he was 20 of 21 and set an NFL record 23 straight last year, actually, even though it wasn't needed and wasn't talked about much, he was only 50% in postseason play. It just looks like a good snap, good placement.
He actually hit it well. It just kind of slid off. Ball's got good height.
And we got a fancy machine down there that shows you just does miss. And Dallas has the football back at the 20-yard line. There's 9:24 here in the 4th quarter. Washington Redskins, Don Warren. That backed him up and ultimately was a factor in Mosley missing a 31-yard field goal attempt, which in itself was rather unusual. In any event, the Cowboys, first down and 10, the ball at the 20-yard line. They trail by 6. 9:24 remains in the game. That's Cosby, the big tight end, in motion. Inside handoff, Dorsett, and Dorsett whistles out close to a first down. He'll be short by about a yard at the 29. Nobody accelerates like this man.
We have 9:12 to go and counting down. All the time in the world in the NFL.
Not a bad start for Tony Dorsett. Of course, 78 yards of it came on a tremendous burst down the sidelines that I think Dorsett was even shocked when the speedster Darrell Green ran him down at the 5-yard line. 2nd and 1. Springs, right side.
He got it.
Close to the first down. He'll have it. Ron Springs, who had to step over a penetrating Washington Redskin very coolly, knew he had to pick up the yard, and he did. A hard-fought football game, which Washington totally dominated in the first half, leading 23-3 at halftime. But in the heat of a September 5th in Washington, 90 degrees at kickoff time, 70 degrees humidity. Springs now split up to the top of your screen. Blitz is on, and Danny White and Cosby team up for the connection. Cosby gets the first down, out close to midfield for 49. Curtis Jordan made the stop, but Danny White very coolly saw the safety blitz, got it to Cosby.
He really read that perfectly.
Very good recognition is right. This is that Kaufman, 55 that comes in. Yep. That's what you call sacrificing your body for the good of the team. I mean, it can happen. Read that one very well. Cosby, I think, will develop. He is, I think, one of the premier tight ends right now, and I think he's really got some even better days ahead of him. He's an awfully good tight end.
He used to be a play shuffler along with Billy Joe Dupree, but now Tom says I want him in there all the time for obvious reasons. He's huge. He's a good blocker and a good receiver. On first down, Danny White's back. He's in a crowd. Danny White gets out of the trap, and we may get a late hit by a Redskin after Danny White has picked up a couple of yards.
That's what it's going to be.
A personal foul against the Redskins, and this is not the time to lose your heads.
Well, let's just take a look at it. One of the things we really try to stay away from is to keep those helmets. Man, the helmet, what really causes the damage.
That's Kaufman coming in there late, and there's no question that was a good call. Quarterbacks are so vulnerable. They're not running backs. They really don't know how to protect themselves, and they really get hurt in an open field.
They're very sensitive people on top of all that.
You got more zippers on your body than anyone I've ever seen.
That's why I'm so sensitive.
They didn't call that when you played.
Oh.
That you needed, right, John?
Right.
At the 35-yard line, Dallas has a first down. Danny White back again, gets the screen off. Ron Springs, it sets up nicely. And Springs will get 8 yards, close to the 27-yard line. Vernon Dean to make the stop, but a good-looking screen by Dallas.
Yeah, they had Herb Scott out there. They had Kurt Peterson. All the big guys come out. We're going to take this one from the top of the RFK here, and look at the guards come out.
That's a great shot.
That's the terrifically set up Spring. Missed one block. Right there, that would have picked up another 5 or 10. Well executed.
Gets 8. They have marked it at the 28, second down, and a long 2. The 2 tight ends back in the game. Billy Joe Dupree has joined Doug Cosby. Springs working up close to another Dallas first down at the 25-yard line. A 3-pointer will not do it as the seconds continue to tick away. We're down close to 6 minutes remaining here in the game.
Theismann intimately aware of what's happening. 2 distinctly separate ball games. Washington the first half, Dallas this half at the moment. Seems inevitable the way Dallas is playing, but you can never tell, as you well know.
And you could cut the tension with a knife here in RFK Stadium. A joyous crowd at halftime, and Washington led 23-3. Less than a yard to go for the first down. Dorsett, he's turned back. And now, fourth down Dallas.
We got to go.
It'll be fourth down for Dallas.
Let's go, he said. Let's go do it.
And if the tension was high a moment ago, this place is almost silent now.
Did he give that last one? Was that Dorsett that ran with it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know, Springs is about, they got him listed at 220 pounds. They got Timmy Newsom in there now, which makes a little bit more sense when you're trying to pick up that 1 yard. You give that to the big guys.
I'll tell you, Dave Butts just straightened out Kirk Peterson, pushed him right back into Dorsett.
Yeah, give it to the big guy. Get the quarterback at it.
Danny took it right in.
First down, Dallas. Following Tom Rafferty. Former All-Pro guard, moved over to center a couple of years ago when Robert Shaw was hurt. He led the way for Danny White.
White has certainly redeemed himself in the clutch of this second half.
What happened to Danny White the first half really didn't have that much to do with Danny White. It was just extenuating circumstances.
Hard to complete him on the bench,
It really is. You got to get out there.
Danny's 8 of 19, 196 yards. More importantly, 2 touchdown bombs to Tony Hill. 24-yard line now. Danny White drops it, falls on it. There'll be a loss of a couple.
That's just kind of getting a little anxious when you pull away from that center.
But down to 4:24, time remaining.
Got a quick pitch. You got to keep thinking about, hey, I got to get this thing out there. He could have bumped into Scott. I think he just kind of dropped it.
You get down close or reasonably close, Don. I hate those pitch-back plays.
You think Big John Riggs is just dozing off there a little?
No.
There was a loss of, I'll call it 3. Second down, 13. Drew Pearson, top of your screen. Not many calls tonight. Tony Hill's to the left. And a draw play. Tony Dorsett. Dorsett on a draw play. A superb call. It'll be first down, goal to go at the 9-yard line.
He was at the 15-yard line before anybody saw it.
That's right.
I'll tell you, that was a good call.
That was a good call. You catch again the secondary going out into a kind of a zone defense, and you see they caught Neil Olkowitz moving a little bit, and here comes Tony D.
Great job by Rafferty on Dave Butts.
You saw that block, didn't you? That's the whole thing in this game. You can talk about formations, you can talk about trick plays, anything you want. You execute, that's what it comes down to.
Blocking and tackling.
And you saw Dorsett 150 yards.
Timmy Newsom is certainly no slouch coming in as a backup.
Big man, 6'1", 235. But this is Ron Springs, and Ron Springs finds another big hole as the Redskins defense now is disappearing here in the second half.
Inexorably now.
Kind of a little, they call it a fold block or a...
That's Rafferty again.
Yeah, Rafferty's doing a terrific job right there. He really is. The big guys are getting a little tired maybe, you know, because we talked about the heat and humidity and moved them around in their pretty good shape. And Dallas's offense has not been on the field that much.
Hey, this is like a 15-round heavyweight fight going on a tough night. Washington now faced with a second down, goal to go. The ball inside their 2-yard line. Danny White.
Roll right.
It in.
He's got it in there.
And the Cowboys have tied it up and are a conversion point away from the lead.
Oh, boy.
The Redskins got 2:25 left to give Mosley another shot.
The Redskins have 3 timeouts, and they will be working to get Mosley within range.
I was talking to Ermal Allen before the game, and he says, well, we got your favorite play in tonight. I said, what's that? He says, well, the quarterback roll right on the goal line.
You just saw it. He had an option.
Quarterback roll right.
And the defensive cornerback, Darrell Green, went with the receiver, and Danny White raced it in, stepped in to take the lead. Dallas, for the first time tonight, has taken the lead, and I think we're going to have a roughing call
on the holder. They really leveled Toronto.
The holder.
Unnecessary roughness, number 28 will penalize on the kickoff. The point was good.
I'll tell you, that hurts because that means now Mike Nelms will not, in all probability, have a chance to run it out.
And Frank, I think that Green hurt himself. Green is still down. We'll take another look at it. Here he comes in from the outside.
He's flying right into Toronto.
He sure did.
That's the 3rd penalty mistake by the Redskins.
And Green is still down out on the field.
And they are working on Darrell Green, the #1 draft pick from Texas A&I, starting left cornerback. He's down on the field. They're working on his left leg. We'll be back in a moment. Dallas has the lead. Chevy field goal will start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. 2:20 on the clock. Washington with 3 timeouts. And this little man, Joe Theismann, and this man can get it done. 2:20 remaining in the football game here from RFK Stadium. Not necessarily a typical game between Dallas and Washington in terms of score, but certainly a bitterly fought game. Washington's job now is to get it into field goal range for Mark Mosley. And that's somewhere down around the 30 to 35-yard line. Theismann on the rollout. Almost picked off. It was Everson Wall stepping right in front of Virgil C. and almost picking it off.
They're using kind of the rollout type patterns, and you see C come down, make a move. He didn't really have a very good position.
That's that double coverage, though, Don. He had help deep, and he could play in tight.
I've seen Everson pick off a few like that, haven't you?
That may be, but the superior problem is they're down to 2:14. Time very much of the essence, and they can't go at those quick 6-yarders.
And Alvin Garrett stays out of the lineup, so something must be wrong with him. It's Giaquinto and Washington in now as setbacks, both good receivers. Theismann, this one is picked off. Down the sideline, just Ron Fellows. Ron Fellows. There are no flags.
That does it.
And,
they had to go to longer patterns. The Dallas secondary ready, and that will wrap up this game. What a comeback.
It is a tremendous comeback. Great character on the part of Dallas.
A little bit more pressure that time, too. You see that Joe kind of threw and fell off of that one, didn't follow through. And there's Ron sitting right in the way.
One of those recently elected captains.
That's true. Theismann got hit pretty good. That was Jacoby that came up and made the tackle. You see the pressure. That's Randy White coming in. And when Randy gets you...
I'll tell you, he did let off him, though.
Yeah, he did.
Very wisely, because he could have drawn a foul very quickly. Ron Fellows with his first interception. It could not have been a bigger one. So now, 2:03. The 2-minute warning will stop the clock. Dallas really would like to get it in, but they also are thinking in terms of time. They want to make sure it's a touchdown if they do get it in. On Springs. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. And Dallas will have a second down. Goal to go at the 2-yard line with 1:59 now on the clock. We'll be back to a very quiet 23-3 Washington at halftime. Dallas came back out, went back to basics, and they're staying with it as Danny White comes up short of the touchdown. And Washington will probably have to think about stopping the clock. They'll start it as soon as they unpile all the folks. Now Washington takes time out.
Washington's first timeout.
And they have 2 remaining.
It's an interesting night for Danny, too, because he started the season, and I think we mentioned earlier there was the, I guess they'd say the contest for the starting quarterback position all through training camp. He opened up, couldn't have opened up really with much worse of a night. And,
you know, I'll tell you something else, Don. It's going to do a lot for this Dallas team. This is not the kind of game that they come back and win. They are not the typical comeback team. They like to go out on top. They have the personnel to do so. It's going to do a lot for their own, I think, pride, their own character. Beautiful night here in Washington.
It's just been a good night. You want to start off on a good, positive note. And
boy, have you changed. You were enjoying that demise before.
You were incorrect. Once again.
A couple of injuries to report. Darrell Green had a cramp in his leg, nothing serious. Alvin Garrett bruised his wrist. That's why he has not been in the lineup. I'd like to tell you, the executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arley. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, produced by Bob Goodrich. And our director, of course, Ted Forte. Technical director, Joe Chavo. Associate director, Alan Brum. Technical manager, Rick Mikulski. Our unit manager, beautiful Irma Norris. Our telecommunications manager, Mark Anderson. Just third down. About a foot for the touchdown. Danny White fires into the end zone, and it'll be Doug Cosby as Danny White gets his third touchdown of the night.
That may have tied a long-standing record of Eddie LeBaron's. He threw a 12-inch touchdown pass one time here in Washington.
Danny White was just trying to put the period on the sentence tonight.
That's right. He says, and one more thing, Washington.
And you, Dexter Manley.
Yes. Wow. I got my pal Doug Cosby here.
Well, the fact is they scored 28 if they make the conversion unanswered points in the second half. They needed Washington mistakes in the form of key penalties to do it. Finally, an intercept as passing patterns had to be changed, but they did what they had to do.
Septien with Toronto holding.
All right.
And there he is, Doug Cosby. He got the touchdown. Short though it might be, he'll get a lot more. He's a great receiver. We'll be back. Dallas now a commanding lead, 31-23. And they are not the big bomb team. Dallas looking very secure at this point. And a tremendous comeback. Septien bangs it again in the corner, and here comes Nelms.
Well, he wants that ball, doesn't he?
Nelms still struggling, and they'll blow it dead up around the 26-yard line. Our assistants to our producer tonight have been Jay Cutlow and Tony Tortorisi. Our stats and graphics provided by Steve Hurt. Stats and research, Joe Cox, and of course, out of Canton, Ohio, Hall of Fame town, Steve Bazika, as usual. Well, we hope you've enjoyed tonight's telecast. We're going to have a busy couple of weeks. This Thursday, we will be up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the San Francisco 49ers.
And then Monday, going to Kansas City
and San Diego.
Kansas City, here we come.
Cowboys have won the second half, 28-0. This is Joe Washington killing the clock with 1:35 with the first down.
I might as well go ahead and mention this, but this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is a no-no. Can't do it.
So don't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it.
First down and 10, the Redskins are on 39-yard line. Next week, Washington will be at Philadelphia, while Dallas will be at St. Louis. Theismann, Giaquinto does not hold on. We will see Dallas again. And Washington. We'll see the Redskins again December the 11th. Or rather, we'll see them against
Big John
the Raiders
on the bench.
October the 23rd, and we'll see the Redskins against San Francisco, rather Dallas against San Francisco December the 19th. Washington will have against San Diego later in the year, and also against Green Bay. Got an official timeout at the moment. And now we're ready to go once again.
Of course.
Not many flags like that. I wouldn't be one to handle one.
And they did wait till late in the game to pull it out, didn't they?
Been sitting on it the whole game.
That's right.
Newly developed courage.
Theismann,
A good throw.
this is Virgil C. A lateral to Giaquinto. They're going to mark it at the 45-yard line. Bill Bates was there covering.
They called it dead before I released the ball.
Theismann has had a relatively good night throwing that ball. He came out in the first half, and he really was pinpointing some passes relatively short. But who would have thought that you come back and they lose 28-0 in the second half?
He's going to put one here very shortly into the end zone, or as close as he can get to it at the time he's allotted. Almost picked off by Dickerson, intended for Joe Washington.
Would have been another score.
Clock stop with 47 seconds remaining.
Well, not to be redundant, the three key penalties and the muff by Mosley of an apparently easy for Mosley field goal. And those mishaps in the second half did them in. For Washington not to score throughout a whole half is really rare.
Dexter Manley, outspoken about being able to handle the Cowboys. And for the first half, he sounded like a prophet. Second down and 10. Theismann fires Giaquinto. Good move. Breaks loose down the sideline. Steps out of bounds. Another Redskin first down as the futility continues.
Yep. You're building up a lot of stats, though.
The Redskin team they've got the character. They're going to be there. They've got a great offensive line. They believe in themselves.
But it hurts to go against your principal rival, have a 23-3 halftime lead, and blow it
at home.
It really hurts.
On first down, Theismann once again. Joe Washington. Low scoop. And Washington kills the clock once again. There's a flag down. Washington ambles down to the 16-yard line.
Illegal contact, 58 defense, penalty refused, first down.
Mike Hegman, the Cowboy offender, but the penalty refused as the first down is accepted on the pass of Theismann to Washington at the 16-yard line. Jim Jetko, rookie first-round draft pick at Dallas, is in the ballgame now, number 77. Harvey Martin gets a breather. 31 seconds remain. Theismann looking for C. He's covered, and this is Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown makes the reception at the 9-yard line. He's short of the first down. Ron Fellows was there defensively for Dallas. And Washington has called another timeout. They have one remaining. Danny White, he had a miserable first half, most of it sitting on the bench. There it is.
Yeah, but he was ineffective when he was in. The second half, he was terrific.
So the Cowboys are going to win their first one, and a tough one it is indeed.
Without the lights.
I'd like to remind you, this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is taking charge. They're by Allstate. We insure your home, your car, your health, your business, and your life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
That was very well done, Frank.
I like my background.
Oh, you did?
I'm not sure I can say the same about your dulcet tone.
You don't have to. I mean, it's we can go along without it.
You make Willie Nelson sound like Perry Como.
Now, that's a new one. That is a new one.
Theismann gets his 300 yards. But he's going to lose this one tonight. He's 26 of 36 for 317. One interception, one touchdown. Two different football games. The Cowboys won it 28-0 in the second half. Second down and 2. John Warren tries to struggle into the end zone. They stepped out by Bill Bates, and they're still going at it. And Randy White steps between Don Warren and one of the Cowboy smaller defensive backs. Once again, we'll be in Minneapolis on Thursday night. The Minnesota Vikings go against the San Francisco 49ers. And then on Monday night, a week from tonight, we'll be out in Kansas City. Chargers, who showed a lot of offense against the Jets. Trouble with their new 3-4 defense. They'll be going up against Kansas City.
That new 3-4 defense running right against the left side of San Diego was just shredded.
The Jets really picking up where they left off a year ago.
They really did. And give Joe Walton credit. He coached a heck of a game.
He called a great game. Once again, from our Goodyear blimp hovering overhead, RFK Stadium.
Well, it was a beautiful night for the blimp, even if it wasn't in the long run for the Redskins.
This crowd certainly changed, though. It really is an emotional city about their football.
It's really emptied out.
They've been talking about this game. They have had television specials. They were broadcasting from the stadium early afternoon. Everyone was quoted. strange kinds of quotes coming out of both camps, mostly from the Redskins. And whatever impact that might have had, I doubt very much. The players today a little more sophisticated than that. On first down, Theismann, he fires into the end zone, and a flag is down as Don Warren is also down.
But you got it, it's a touchdown.
Well, let's let him decide for sure. Yes, it is.
Interference, 24 defense, penalty refused, touchdown.
Everson Walls, the interference call. With 10 seconds now remaining on the clock.
Now, you don't really think that they can do the onside kick and the field goal, do you, in 10 seconds? Theismann had an option, run and throw. Come out, you'll see Warren open up. Brunig trips. He might have gotten there a little bit sooner had he not. Didn't really see the interference call, but Warren clutched it into his arms.
Think of the missed Mosley field goal now.
Think of it as right. You know, if Mosley had not missed that field goal, I don't think they would have been throwing down here when they intercepted.
You're right. They wouldn't have been intercepted.
Changed the whole game plan.
Well, for Washington, they have to have the onside kick, and they have to have it deep enough where Mosley will be able to make the field goal attempt.
Do they have any more timeouts?
It's a very tall order.
Do they have any more timeouts?
No more timeouts.
No more timeouts.
The time, and of course we're going to Dallas being warned over there. Let's have no defensive fouls. Should the ball be turned over to Washington. The period, of course, could not end on a defensive foul. So, we'll see what happens.
Well, the band is alive again.
There you go, Tommy.
Hail to the Redskins.
Hail to the Redskins.
Hail victory. Braves on the warpath. Fight on for old DC.
If we could get a very wide shot, you'll see what Dallas is doing. They are employing all of their sure-handed football players, receiver types, secondary men. Everson Walls is in there. Michael Downs is in there. They're all in there close.
What you want to do, Frank, is skim it past them.
Well, I'm explaining what Dallas wants to do, and that is have the sure-handed people in there to make sure that linemen are not handling the football. They are going with the players who are going to have to fall on it. And there's a scramble for it, and Dallas has it.
That does it.
That was very close.
That was. They had a little, looked like mishandling it there for a moment.
And there is 8 seconds, and should Washington have come up with the ball, they might have been able to throw a quick out or something and got it within range for Mosley. That is not the case, however. This is history. Here is Jeff Hayes.
Kicked it over it, went to 10 yards.
Short hop there by Butch Johnson.
That's right.
And Dennis Thurman comes down with it. That'll do it. Final 2 seconds ticking away. And the Dallas Cowboys in an amazing comeback, scoring 28 points here in the second half after only 3 in the first half. They have defeated the Washington Redskins 31-30, and we'll be back at RFK Stadium in a moment.
The opening of the 1983 season truly was a time to sing Hail to the Redskins. Just 8 months earlier, Washington had defeated Miami in Super Bowl 17 for its first world championship in 40 years. And to get there, the Skins had knocked off the hated Dallas Cowboys in the NFC title game. A world title and a humbling of Dallas along the way. What could be sweeter? Well, how about a 1983 season opener against the Cowboys on Monday night? The Skins were the new tough guy on the block. And what better way to open their title defense than with a beating of their arch rivals on national television? But hold on a minute. The Cowboys were still the Cowboys, and their egos have been bruised after dropping their third consecutive NFC championship game. Revenge had to be on Dallas's mind as it ventured into a sold-out RFK Stadium to tackle Joe Theismann, John Riggins, the Hogs, and 55,000 Redskin fanatics.
At Washington's RFK Stadium, both shirts and skins are acceptable in the stands, but on the field it is skins all the way. This was especially true in Week 1 of the 1983 season, when another sellout crowd greeted their Redskins as defending Super Bowl champions. The Skins' foe this night was the most intolerable of all to Washington fans, head coach Tom Landry and his dreaded Dallas Cowboys. The game would feature the 2 top-rated quarterbacks in the NFC from the previous season, the Redskins' Joe Theismann and the Cowboys' Danny White. White would try to pass the Cowboys to their 18th season-opening victory in 19 years, but Dallas had taken on an uncharacteristic role in the NFC East as that of the chaser instead of the chasee. The Cowboys had to accept the fact that the champion Redskins were the new team to beat, as Washington head coach Joe Gibbs had become recognized as one of the game's great young minds. Whatever the names or the stakes, this still was the Redskins and the Cowboys, the NFL's marquee rivalry. In 1982, Danny White was director of the number 2 offense in the NFC. But in the Redskins, he was facing a defense which had allowed the fewest points in the NFL. And in a classic battle of strength versus strength, the early rounds would go to Washington. While the defense played like giant killers, the Redskin offense was turned over to the original Smurf, 5'7" receiver Alvin Garrett, number 89. Garrett, filling in for the injured Art Monk, responded with a game-high 10 catches, 9 of which came in the first half alone. Garrett was Theismann's main target on the night, but hardly the only one, as the quarterback hit 8 different receivers, including tight end Rick Walker, number 88. Theismann's shooting spree led to a 3-0 Redskin lead, and it was soon 10-0 when John Riggins performed his specialty from a yard out. Washington had completely bulldozed over Dallas in the first quarter, and things didn't change much in the second. The Cowboys were lobbying to knock off an incumbent champion. Around the same time in Washington, an incumbent president was beginning a campaign for re-election in 1984. And on this night, the Redskins looked like a party of Ronald Reagans heading toward a landslide victory over a badly outnumbered group of Walter Mondales. Dallas cut the lead to 10-3 with a Rafael Septien field goal, and it was all the points the Cowboys could muster in the first half. While Dallas's weapons were neutralized, Washington's were performing with lethal precision. First, there was Riggins, who rambled his way to a team-high 89 yards. Next, there was Theismann, who began an MVP season by throwing for nearly 300 yards and running for nearly 40 more. And then there was kicker Mark Mosley, who was on his way to scoring more points in a season than any kicker in history. Mosley's 3 first-half field goals built a 16-3 Redskin lead, one which the Washington defense wasn't about to relinquish. The Redskins wrapped up Tony Dorsett and company for less than 100 yards of offense in the first half. Danny White must have felt his hands tied and knots in his stomach as the Cowboys couldn't bear to watch their prime time unraveling. But the next time Dallas looked up, things were only getting worse. Charlie Brown's 41-yard touchdown catch added insult to an already painful Dallas first half. The Cowboys, down 23-3, were forced to ponder some difficult questions heading into halftime. Were the Redskins really this good? Was a new dynasty emerging in the NFC East? And were some aging Cowboys stars fading in the Washington night? If indeed it was magic Washington had displayed in the first half, the Redskins certainly hoped it carried over to the second. But Tom Landry wasn't a big believer in hocus pocus, and he took corrective measures to shake his spellbound Cowboys from their hypnotic fog. 65-yard score cut the Washington lead to 23-10. And while it quieted the RFK faithful, it also seemed to silence the Redskin attack. The 1983 Redskins possessed an offense of epic proportion, but in the second half against the Cowboys, these Washington heroes suddenly were living a nightmarish odyssey. Redskin offense found itself falling back to earth, the Dallas attack was just taking flight, and it was once again the wings of the fleet Tony Hill which helped the Cowboys soar. Hill's 51-yard hookup from White was his second catch of a scoring bomb in the third quarter, and trimmed a once overwhelming Redskin lead to just 23-17. Hill would go on to lead Dallas in receiving yardage for the 6th straight season. And another look at his touchdown shows that Redskin quarterback Anthony Washington, number 24, had Hill in perfect coverage. But White's pass was just a bit more perfect. Hill's catches dropped like a bomb on Washington as the Redskins suddenly were fighting to stay afloat. Washington's biggest strength definitely was its high-powered offense, one which would go on to produce an NFL record 541 points in 1983. But from the looks of things, Dallas wasn't interested in records, just revenge. The Washington point-scoring machine temporarily was derailed, the Cowboys went to work racking up their own impressive numbers with the help of a dependable friend, running back Tony Dorsett. Dorsett was part of a Dallas attack which would score 479 points in 1983, the third highest mark in NFL history. The seventh-year back scooted for 151 yards against the Redskins, over half of which came on this 77-yard run, his longest of the season. While Dorsett took care of the marathon sprinting, it was a short jog by Danny White that finally put Dallas ahead in the fourth quarter. White's one-yard bootleg gave the Cowboys a 24-23 lead and forced Joe Theismann to play catch-up for the first time in the game. Ron Fellows' 33-yard interception return put the ball inside the Redskin 10 and was a harsh glimpse of reality for the Washington faithful. It was a glimpse that maybe, just maybe, the Dallas Cowboys weren't ready to relinquish their dominance in the NFC East. The Cowboys were used to having opponents band together in order to knock them down a peg or two. But this time it was Dallas which had pulled together to conquer a mightier foe. Fellows' interception set up the game clincher, with White going to Doug Cosby for his third touchdown pass of the half. The Cowboys' 4 unanswered scores gave them a 31-23 lead and left Joe Theismann with little more to shoot for than a consolation touchdown drive. Theismann moved Washington into position for a last-gasp score, but a touchdown toss to Don Warren only padded the scoreboard for the shell-shocked Redskins. This game definitely belonged to Dallas, and Danny White could be proud to walk away not only with a game ball, but with an amazing 31-30 comeback victory. Dallas would go on to lose in the NFC wildcard game, while Washington advanced to its second straight Super Bowl. But on this night, America's team could treasure the moment. It had shown all of America what it was made of. Washington went on to win its first Super Bowl, then opened the following season with what appeared to be another Redskin rout over Dallas. Instead, they were about to be victimized by a stunning Cowboy comeback.
Well, we were very frustrated at halftime because they'd pretty much shut us down. Came out the second half, we did the things that we felt going into the game that we could do, and all of a sudden they started opening up for us. I've always looked forward to playing the Redskins because they play the type of defense that you can hurt if you execute properly, especially in the passing game. And that was the key to the victory and being able to come back, especially in Washington, where the crowd becomes such a big part of the game. It was a tremendous thrill to quiet that crowd down in the fourth quarter once we took the lead.
You know, we went in at halftime figuring that, we were going to have to come out the second half, the third quarter, and start off fast with a fast start. And that's exactly what we did. We got the ball and we started going up and down the field like they weren't out there. And that would have to be one of the all-time great Cowboy comebacks, in my opinion.
The rest of the 1980s were dominated by...
The other Texas team also showed a tremendous amount of character. Not only did they come back, they came back and won a very important game against their arch rival, the Washington Redskins. The Cowboys were surrounded by Redskins Monday night as number 72 Dexter Manley and friends held Danny White to minus 11 yards in the first half. The only thing Dallas had to shout about was this 77-yard romp by Tony Dorsett. Even this run received mixed reviews as the speedy Dorsett was caught from behind by number 28, Washington's first-round draft pick, cornerback Darrell Green. Tony D's run led to Dallas's only points in the half, a field goal. The biggest blow to the Texans' pride was this Joe Theismann to Charlie Brown beauty with 31 seconds left in the half. It gave the defending Super Bowl champions a surprising and seemingly safe 23-3 lead. But this game was definitely a tale of two halves, and the second belonged to Dallas. Number 80, Tony Hill hauled in Danny White's bomb for a 75-yard touchdown, the Cowboys' first of the game. Five minutes later, White combined with Thrill Hill again. The receiver one-handed the ball for 51 yards, and suddenly the Cowboys were back in the game. After Mark Mosley missed a field goal that might have put the game away, Danny White, in a nice piece of poetic justice, bootlegged around right end for the winning touchdown. For White and the Cowboys, it was a dramatic turnaround in fortunes. The final nail in the coffin came when number 27, cornerback Ron Fellows, picked off Joe Theismann's sideline pass to set up still another Dallas score. Both teams traded touchdowns, but the Cowboys' 28 unanswered points answered the critics loud and clear in one of the great opening week victories in the history of the league.
The Washington-Dallas game was the NFL at its best. Len, when you talk about rivalries in the National Football League, the Dallas Cowboy-Washington Redskin rivalry has to be the best. They don't like each other, and they make no bones about it.
And they point for each other. As a matter of fact, when HBO Sports visited Carlisle, Pennsylvania, the training camp of the Washington Redskins, this was before they'd ever played a game. They were already putting in special plays for the Dallas Cowboy game. Now, they played terrifically with a lot of intensity, but it didn't last 4 quarters.
Well, we talked about a quarterback situation on the Dallas Cowboys. But at halftime, with the Cowboys trailing 23-3, Tom Landry opted to keep Danny White in and not replace him with Gary Hogeboom. He stuck with White, and White stuck it to the Redskins.